I have a mobile phone in my Dantian. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 776. Too much better than me. At their level of strength, their control over the Dao and their attainments in divine arts have reached the pinnacle level. The magic weapon in their hands can be taken away, which shows how strange the good is. Sudong said he had a way to deal with such a strange good. I wonder what you have to say. The master of Jijian Palace will watch. Sudong was full of confidence. Whoosh. Sudong rushed out. The master of Jijian Palace looked at him in surprise and expectation, and saw Sudong rushing out directly. You want to deal with me without using magic weapons? Yu Hong laughed. The magic weapons increased the power and the use of Dao magic was very effective. Without magic weapons, even his demon body could not be broken. It went forward openly, but Sudong waved his hand. Come. The dark golden good in the distance trembled violently. Yu Hong immediately showed horror on his face. Good, my precious good. The dark golden good trembled violently and then flew directly towards Sudong's palm. No. Yu Hong's dark eyes were about to burst, and he waved his arms wildly, trying to catch the flying good. But the dark golden good flew very fast, and it disappeared into Sudong's palm in the blink of an eye. Ah. Yu Hong's true master roared unwillingly. Just take it like that. The master of Jijian Palace blinked. Just now, the good was so strange that it took in many artifacts like taking things out of a bag. Now Sudong just waved his hand and took the good. Sudong smiled. My 8 stars are similar to magic weapons, but they are not magic weapons. Stars can be used in the Huangquan space ranking battle, which is beyond the scope of artifacts. But they were also swallowed by this good as magic weapons. The Purgatory Divine Sword swallowed it in, and it was indeed cut off from contact, but I can clearly sense these 8 stars, because the 8 stars come from the star map, and are directly controlled by my core data will. Manipulating the stars naturally dragged the dark golden good over. I didn't use it directly before, because I wanted to try out how strange this good is. It is indeed extraordinary. Then I thought about it. Whoosh, 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 a stream of star threads came out from the mouth of the good, which also contained a pitch black divine sword and 2 divine swords. Both of them were extraordinary. The master of the Jijian Palace had perfect sword skills and a very high status, so his divine swords were naturally epic level divine swords. My Jixin sword and Yunlang sword. The 2 divine swords flew directly into the hands of the master of the Jijian Palace. The Purgatory Divine Sword sank into Sudong's hand. Sudong flipped his hand and wanted to put the dark golden good into the storage bag, but the storage bag space shook. The storage bag can't store it? Sudong frowned. Give it back to me. Give me my precious good back. Yu Hong rushed over frantically. The surging black light surged. Collect it for me. Sudong thought about it and lit up 8 stars. The core data space that transformed into a chaotic void was vast and boundless. The storage capacity could not be improved. As Sudong urged, the dark golden good in his palm trembled. Then it disappeared. Put it away. Yu Hong glared. The treasure good is a rare treasure. He didn't know what level of treasure it was, but it was of great help to his strength improvement, and he could forcibly take other people's magic weapons during battle, which was amazing. But he didn't recognize the owner of this rare treasure, and he couldn't put it away. It was usually hung on his chest, but Sudong put it away with a flip of his hand. He really put it in a storage container, and he couldn't even feel the existence of the good in the space. Kill. Sudong looked at Yu Hong's true master with cold eyes. Kill. The master of Jijian Hall also looked at him with murderous intent. Not good. Yu Hong shuddered. With the treasure good, he could be arrogant and wanton, but without the treasure good, he was no match for these 2. Sudong drew his sword instantly. The blood red blade light of the devil's hell blood killing saber technique gathered, and the ultimate mode was activated. With one swing of the blade, a dazzling blood red blade light of more than 1,000 feet was formed. The blade light was huge and violent, like an erupting volcano, and it directly chopped towards the true Lord Yu Hong. At the same time, a flying sword shook the heaven and earth, crossed the sky, and attacked the true Lord Yu Hang. Run, run. Yu Hang quickly turned into a black line and fled. But Sudang had a thought, and the star thread suddenly intercepted in front of Yu Hang. Sudang, Sudang, it's Sudang again. Yu Hang was crazy. It would be fine if he was strong in attack and killing, but there was this star thread. Today he was defeated, and he was defeated by this Sudang. A master of the extreme sword hole was nothing. The trouble was Sudang. Even the treasure good was taken by him. This Sudang is worthy of being a peerless figure of the void life. The main demon ordered to kill him. Yu Hang could only turn back to block it. The life of purgatory is indeed not afraid of death. Boom. The earth and sky trembled. The sword light and the sword shadow slammed into the body of Yu Hang at the same time. The sword light was domineering, and the sword shadow was unparalleled. In terms of power, the sword light was stronger, but in terms of penetration ability, the sword shadow was even better. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. When these two powers attacked the body of Yu Hang at the same time, the latter's body was instantly shattered, just like a bubble turned into endless black gas. Only a trace of breath drifted away. I can't stop it. I can't stop it. The two of them are too strong together. Yu Hang only had the breath of the origin of purgatory. It had been patient for 90,000 years. When it was weak, it hid in the void and rarely killed and devoured. It broke through the true master level and wanted to kill happily, only when it was slightly stronger. After the breakthrough, he thought he was in the master realm, and those top perfect realm masters, he could save his life with his treasure good, but he didn't expect to run into Sudang. It seems that I, Yu Hang, will die here today. For 90,000 years, I recall that my race lived in the 49th layer of the void. How wanton we were. We came to the bottom of the void in despair. There are no resources suitable for our race at all. If we want to survive, we must devour these void cultivators. Originally born at a high altitude, at a higher level of the food chain, as a high level consumer in the food chain, purgatory life cannot directly draw nutrients from the heaven and earth in the bottom void. Because the level is not high enough, it can only draw from life. Because the number of tribes is huge, they kill crazily. However, the strength of void life is beyond their imagination, and the growth is extremely rapid. In the end, they are suppressed. The weak in purgatory life can't devour as much as they want. The gap between the strong and the weak is too big. The strong will always be strong, and the weak will find it difficult to stand out. Yu Hang is a weak person. After enduring for 90,000 years, he finally devoured as much as he wanted. But he died in one day. Lord Demon, Sudang Shuriking, is here with me. Yu Hang's true master sent a message. Sudang, where are you? The Lord of Purgatory responded to the question. The end of the world, the Void Kill Island. Can you kill this Sudang? Yu Hang Zensu was about to speak. Puff. The flashes of swords and sabers crossed and slashed in an instant. Above Kilu Island, the strong men of Huang Quandaofu and the Void Temple looked up and looked at the sky in the distance. When they saw Sudang and the extreme sword hole master slashing that wisp of purgatory aura in an instant, many strong men were excited. Sudang also had some feelings. This is the first purgatory Zensu I killed in a head-on confrontation. In the two-world galaxy, purgatory life was suppressed, and he had to flee when he met a Zensu. This was the first time that a purgatory Zensu was crushed and killed head-on. Dead. I didn't expect it would be so difficult to kill this purgatory life that had just broken through the Zensu level. The extreme sword hole master also sighed. Sudang glanced at the extreme sword hole master and nodded. Then he looked into the distance, where there were still some treasures floating around, but the most special thing was the breath of purgatory. Sudang stretched out his hand and took the breath of purgatory at will. He activated his divine power and split it into two. One breath went to the master of Jijian Palace, and the other went to himself. The master of Jijian Palace also worked hard to kill Yu Hang this time. Thank you, Daojin. The master of Jijian Palace had no objection to the distribution. You're welcome, master of Jijian Palace. Sudang smiled. He turned and flew out of the void. He solved the problem while on the way and continued on his way. The master of Jijian Palace watched Sudang leave and bowed. Awesome. Sudong's divine skills are exquisite, and his swordsmanship is even stronger. He can seriously injure Yu Hang with one sword. The master of Jijian Palace sighed. No wonder his name is known throughout the void. His strength is indeed much better than mine. Chapter 777 Treasure Gourd. Treasures. Zenhei Shuriking and Chiangxing Shuriking flew to the place where the treasures were floating. Both sides were not polite this time and quickly used their means to collect many treasures in their sleeves. After all, it was a purgatory life hidden in the void for a long time, and the collection of artifacts and magic weapons was still very large. Sudong and the master of Jijian Palace divided the purgatory aura and did not touch these artifacts and magic weapons. It was also intended to let them distribute. Because the people who first discovered the Yu Hang True Lord were Zenhei Shuriking and Chiangxing Palace Master. Naturally, they could not let the two return empty-handed. Sudong Daojin is really generous. There are so many treasures, but he didn't take any of them. Chiangxing Palace Master put away a big seal, checked it out, and immediately smiled. Sudong took the initiative to not take it, and Jijian Palace Master naturally couldn't be too ungraceful. This time, he was able to kill the Yu Hang True Lord. Sudong's role is greater than the latter, which is also recognized by everyone. Zenhei Shuriking hurriedly collected many treasures and released the Holy Spirit Law to search. Some treasures drifted away after the death of Yu Hang Zhensu. They must be carefully searched, otherwise they might miss some real treasures. Jijian Palace Master watched from afar and shook his head slightly. Although this Yu Hang Zhensu has been hiding for a long time, there is only one real treasure, that is the dark gold gourd. Even my magic sword can collect it. What a treasure. This time he suffered a great loss from the dark gold gourd. Fortunately, Sudong's method was more sophisticated and broke the dark gold gourd. However, the dark gold gourd also fell into Sudong's hands. Jijian Palace Master was naturally envious. Although it was a magic weapon, it could be used with a little modification. But envy was useless. Sudong could break the gourd, so he was naturally qualified to own it. It was good enough to return two epic magic swords to him. In any case, Yu Hang Zhensu died, and died well. In the extremely distant edge of the void, in the dark void, a large hole stood in the void. This Sudong is so brave. I thought he would hide in the core of Huangquan Daofu, but I didn't expect him to dare to come out. Upon receiving the message from Yu Hang Zhensu, the Lord of Purgatory, who was originally crawling and practicing, was suddenly shocked. Now Sudong has become a thorn in the eyes of the purgatory life, and he must be eliminated. Yu Hang, if you can't kill Sudong, hold him back. I will immediately order other Zhensu to go over and make sure to kill Sudong. The Lord of Purgatory, who had countless tentacles on his head, hurriedly sent a message to instruct. Yu Hang Zhensu wanted to send another message, but then it stopped abruptly. The Lord of Purgatory suddenly fell silent. He understood that Yu Hang Zhensu was dead. After a moment, the Lord of Purgatory stopped sending the message, and a pair of evil eyes flashing with a faint purple light looked ahead, and a battle scene was immediately reflected in front of him. It was a scene of the battle between Yu Hang Zhensu and Sudong and the Lord of Jijian Hall from the perspective of Yu Hang Zhensu. At the last moment, Yu Hang Zhensu still forced the memory image to be transmitted back, which was already the limit. There was no other life in the dark hall, only the Lord of Purgatory silently watched the battle scene, showing a look of surprise. Void life grows locally. Even if the cultivation resources are scarce, it still has infinite potential, and can be improved quickly. The swordsmanship of the Extreme Sword Hall Master was just beginning to enter the perfect state 10,000 years ago, and it was quite rough at that time. Now it has been perfected so much. 10,000 years. Maybe the progress is not fast in the eyes of the Extreme Sword Hall Master, but the Lord of Purgatory feels uncomfortable, because the strength of the void life increases by 1 point, and the fight between them and the purgatory life becomes more difficult. Then Sudong's Star Silk Thread was unleashed, forcing Yu Hang to be in a hurry, and he killed him with a knife, and the knife technique killed Yu Hang seriously. The breath of the Lord of Purgatory was surging. When he came, he was surprised by the means of Sudong and the Lord of Extreme Sword Hall, Sudong's Star Silk Thread, and the swordsmanship of the Lord of Extreme Sword Hall. Sudong's Star Silk Thread divine art was already known before. His sword skills were also very powerful and should have been improved. This Sudang is destined to be my Purgator's great enemy. If he doesn't die, he must be eliminated. He was surprised by the strength of the extreme sword hall master and Sudang. The second thing that surprised him was the means used by Yu Hong Zenzu when fighting against the enemy. Yu Hong has just broken through, and his demonic body level is comparable to the Zenzu's late demonic body. And that good. It is not my purgatory magic weapon, but it can collect many artifacts and magic treasures. It is obvious that Yu Hong has some opportunities. It didn't know that there was such an opportunity in the past. Now Yu Hong is dead, and the dark gold good has also fallen into Sudang's hands. It is the most uncomfortable for the enemy to get the treasure. It also makes him more determined. This Sudang must be killed. No matter how great the price is, Sudang must be killed. This battle surprised the purgatory life, and many major forces in the void also collected the scenes of the battle at that time. The news that the master of Jijian Palace and Sudang, the Shuriking, joined hands to eliminate the demon quickly spread throughout the void. It was widely spread. In the vast void of the era, a small boat turned into a stream of light and flew forward rapidly. In the flying boat, Sudang held a dark golden good in his hand. The good was trembling. It kept flashing a dark golden halo. The good had no owner. Sudang wanted to penetrate it with his divine power, but the good rejected his divine power penetration. Even dripping blood to recognize the owner did not work. I thought this good was a magic weapon, but I found out it was not a magic weapon after I got it. Sudang thought. He had also obtained the purgatory magic lamp, which emitted a monstrous magic aura. Although this good was strange, it did not emit magic light. Instead, it was quite divine. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. Strange. I can't feel any mark of recognition of the owner on this good. How did Yu Hong control this good? Sudang wondered. Normally, magic weapons, whether they are divine or magical, must recognize their master before they can be used, but this good has not been recognized. How can it be used without being recognized? Perhaps it is because this good is too special. Even epic divine weapons are easily taken. What level of treasure is it? Sudang's mind moved slightly, and he turned his hand to put the good back into the core data space. The core data space was previously hazy and chaotic, with 8 dazzling stars floating, and the good was placed in the center of the stars. Will penetrate. The will of the transformation level directly touched the edge of the good. Last time, when he got the Kingshan realm from the Sea Saint Liu Mu, it was also unable to recognize its master, but he penetrated it with his strong will. But the will of the transformation level seemed to penetrate into the good, but the will peeked into the darkness and could only vaguely see a black millstone-like object in the good, with some blood and flesh floating. Grinding disc. The grinding disc in the good was grinding away the blood and flesh. The scene was very strange. Open. Sudang wanted to force his will to penetrate, but the good was not like the Kingshan realm. The Kingshan realm was a world, but this good was just a strange item. Sudang's will explored it. Then he penetrated the good. How do I use this good? Sudang frowned. It was impossible to recognize the master. It was not a magic weapon, and it was impossible to penetrate it with will. Recalling the wanton use of this good by Yu Hong Zenzu before. Precious good, precious good. Collect the magic sword, collect the stars. The expression and words of Yu Hong Zenzu when he activated this good. Sudang's heart moved. In the core data space, Sudang's will took shape and stood in front of the good. Precious good. He spoke with his will. But suddenly the good trembled and a wisp of breath floated out. Sudang's eyes suddenly lit up. This treasure was actually activated by a formula, and the formula was also unique. Just a sentence of precious good. Chapter 778. Asking the palace. According to legend, in ancient times, when cultivating immortals, many magic weapons were activated by formulas. Under the formulas of immortals, many magic weapons were also very useful. Later, as the Taoism was perfected, those magic weapons activated by formulas were too easy to be taken away. That's why there were artifacts that recognize the master with a drop of blood. The soul recognized the master, and the will recognized the master. Since Sudong embarked on the road of cultivation, this is the first time he has seen a treasure that can be activated by formulas alone. The formula is activated. This good has an extraordinary origin. It should be some years old. Sudong thought to himself. Then he continued to speak. Baby good, what is your origin? Wow. The mouth of the dark gold good suddenly floated out a stream of air. The airflow reflected scenes one by one. At the beginning, a young man emerged from the mountains holding a gourd. The young man held the gourd and practiced all the way. He soon became a strong man. The young man should be the first owner of the gourd. After the young man became powerful, he was coveted by others. He used vicious means to kill the young man. This treasure gourd fell into the hands of the boy's enemy, that is, the second owner. It was this second owner who really developed the many wonderful uses of the treasure gourd. This second owner was also a woman, with the Taoist name of Fairy Yujing. In that era, Fairy Yujing also named the treasure gourd as Jade Pure Gourd. She claimed to the outside world that this gourd was originally a treasure passed down by her master, and it was lost and picked up by the first boy. Of course, no matter what the name is, the gourd formula is still a treasure gourd. Fairy Yujing spent a very long time to finally study the many magical effects of the treasure gourd. First, this treasure gourd can assist in cultivation. No matter your method of cultivation is to absorb and refine spiritual power, or essence and blood, flesh and blood, through the treasure gourd to extract and share, the efficiency can be doubled, and with the absorption, the power of the gourd will gradually increase. Over the long years, the owner of the treasure gourd has changed no less than 100 times. The power of the treasure gourd has also been pushed to an extremely terrifying level. No wonder there is flesh and blood inside. Sudong was silent. The way to improve the life of purgatory is to devour the flesh and blood of living beings. Let the gourd devour as well, which can not only enhance the power of the gourd, but also double the efficiency of one's own cultivation. The second magical effect is to collect magic treasures and items. It can be said that everything is collected, but there is a limit. A maximum of 100 magic treasures can be collected. The level of magic treasures is also limited to epic low-grade artifacts. Sudong has experienced this magical effect, which is the most bizarre. As long as there are no more than 100 magic treasures, they can even be collected at the same time. There is also a third magical effect. Baby gourd, get bigger. Wow. In Sudong's core data space, the dark golden gourd suddenly swelled up, and the height quickly climbed. 1 zang, 2 zang, 10 zang, 50 zang, 100 zang. The baby gourd has been growing to more than 1000 zang. Then there was a rumble. Sudong's entire core data space was shaken violently. The chaotic airflow was surging, and the momentum was terrifying. The third magical effect of the treasure gourd is its weight. When the gourd is small, it is just like an ordinary gourd, but the bigger it gets, the heavier it gets. When it reaches 1000 feet in size, the weight has reached a terrifying level. Sudong exclaimed. With this weight, even the heaven and earth can be smashed directly. Breaking all laws with one force is no joke. This smash. At least the power of level 9. Looking up at the 1000-foot high gourd. Of course, with such a heavy weight, it is naturally extremely difficult to activate it. Except for moving vertically downward, moving in other directions is like a snail. Because it is too heavy. This is also the reason why Yu Hong has never used the gourd to smash people. It is too impractical. The 3 great magical effects, how this treasure gourd was born, and who refined it, these are unknown. But just because of the 3 great magical effects, the value of this gourd is rising straight up, and it is extremely expensive. After hundreds of masters, the foolish ones who rely on the treasure gourd die quickly. The smart ones can even rely on the treasure gourd to practice to a very strong level. On the road of cultivation, treasures are important, but oneself is more important. After watching many scenes, Sudong sighed and immediately urged the gourd to shrink again. Of the 3 magical effects, the offensive one is the worst. Several generations of masters have never used it to attack. It is quite practical to help practice and put away the magic weapon. Sudong's eyes lit up slightly. If this precious gourd can help me to sacrifice the Dao God pill, then I will be invincible. What Sudong wanted most was naturally to light up the stars. At this moment, Sudong tried to burn the Dao essence, part of which entered the gourd, and part of which was directly used to sacrifice the Dao god pill. However, the idea is beautiful, and the reality is cruel. The burning Dao essence entered the gourd, stayed for only a moment, and then dissipated. Obviously, the Dao essence gourd could not absorb it at all. It is also, the gourd can only extract basic energy, such as spiritual power, divine power, flesh, and blood. Dao essence, it can't do it yet. In this case, this precious gourd can only be used as a magic weapon for me. Sudong smiled, and put away the precious gourd. Sudong was in a good mood after getting this treasure. This book has been updated recently in update. This time, I passed the 18th crown shuriken, and the Dao mansion gave me a lot of Taoist magic for free, among which there are 6 top swordsmanships. These 6. 4 of them resonate with the 11th level of Xian Weishan swordsmanship. The remaining 2 have some shadows of the 12th level. Wow. In the core data space, 6 phantoms appeared in front of Sudong's will. These phantoms have long swords, short swords, wide swords, narrow swords. None of them are books. At this level, swordsmanship cannot be carried by books and words. It is completely artistic conception and mystery. These 6 swordsmanships are all top swordsmanships in the void, and have been circulated in the void for a long time. They can be compared with the Yama sword. In terms of the swordsmanship level, they can be compared with the Yama sword. They are all swordsmanships that can reach the upper level of the perfect state once mastered. Sudong has been focusing most of his energy on the cultivation of these 6 sword techniques. Because he has comprehended the mysteries of sword techniques and kept the essence, Sudong's sword techniques have been further improved. Although Yu Hong's demon body is strong, it still cannot stop Sudong's sword. Wait until I can fully master the essence of the 6 sword techniques. The 11th level of Xian Weishan sword technique should be about the same. Once he succeeds, Sudong will reach the level of perfection with his sword techniques alone. With the increase of the star system, his power will not be the bottom among the 18 crowned shurikens. At least he will not be suppressed so badly by the Firefox shuriken. The spring and autumn boat quickly shuttled through the void. The Dao Palace is an independent era of the void, which is extremely far away. Even at the speed of the spring and autumn boat, it still takes several days. Sudong sat in the boat. While flying, he was immersed in the eternal space to compress time to practice sword techniques and comprehend the Tao. Finally, after 12 days in the outside world, the spring and autumn boat came to a void and passed through the void barrier. The Wendao Palace is one of the absolute treasures of the endless era void. No force can monopolize it. Many powerful people come and go here, looking for opportunities. The entire void is actually equivalent to a stretch of undulating palaces. A flash of light. Sudong drove the spring and autumn boat into the Wendao Palace void. According to the map, the 9 Tribulations Divine Thunder is in the 10,000th Thunder Hall. This 10,000th Thunder Hall belongs to the Wendao Palace area. Whoosh! The spring and autumn boat flew straight in. While flying, Sudong also looked at the many scenes around him along the way. Chapter 779, Rainy Lake. This is the void of the Daowen Palace. It's so huge, and even has rules. Here, the speed of the spring and autumn boat is much slower. Sudong looked at the outside world through the spring and autumn boat. The outside world is a vast lake with no end in sight. Occasionally, pavilions can be seen in the lake. Some of those pavilions are surrounded by formations, while others are empty. Those with formations are naturally occupied by strong people. Most of the strong people who can practice here are somewhat confident. In the Daowen Palace area, due to the influence of strange rules, the maximum movement speed here is only 1/3 of the outside world, and the transmission talismans are useless. This also increases the danger of wandering here. Once you are besieged, you may not even be able to escape. Sudong is lucky to have the spring and autumn boat. The spring and autumn boat is a flying divine object. In addition to its fast movement speed, it has better self-defense, which is perfect for wandering in these dangerous places. I chose the spring and autumn boat because I wanted to make it easier to travel through dangerous places. Sudong sat in the flying boat with a scroll in his hand. The scroll contained detailed maps of the Daowen Palace, which Sudong was qualified to view only after he became the 18-crown Shuriken. In secret places like the Daowen Palace, even the Emperor-level masters dared not enter the core areas without permission, so the map information was of high value and was discovered by generations of masters. There were many desperate places, and they were obtained at the cost of the lives of masters. The Shurikens who were qualified to inquire were not allowed to spread the information to others without the permission of the Dao Mansion, even if they had read it themselves. One had to take an oath when reading the scroll. Of course, it was not only the Huangquan Dao Mansion that did this. The Void God Court was good at exploration, and when traveling through secret places, they also strictly controlled the information. The more map information there was, the stronger the penetration of the big forces into such secret places would be. This lake is called Xianyu Lake. For a long time, divine rain has been falling from the sky in this void, gathering into a vast lake, which should be tens of millions of kilometers. Legend has it that there are strange creatures in the depths of the lake that rule here. Many water-dominant monsters come here to practice and search for treasures. Monsters born in the water tribe naturally have an advantage in fighting in the water, and the environment here is extremely good, which is also very helpful for practice. Xianyu Lake is to the south of the Wendao Palace, but the Wanli Palace I want to go to is to the north. I dare not go into the core area. After all, even the Emperor-level strongman may fall in it. I can only go around the edge. Sudong put away the scroll and controlled the spring and autumn boat to fly all the way. At the same time, a purple flame flew out from Sudong's brow, and the flame flew to the side and turned into a white-robed Sudong. The white-robed Sudong's face was softer, his eyes were purple, and his whole temperament seemed more evil. It was Sudong's 9 Nether Fire Lotus clone. My Tuosh divine body has the mark of the Shuriken, and my swordsmanship and starry thread are too eye-catching, so I will be easily recognized. Being too famous brings troubles. When walking in this Wendao Palace, I will use the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body. My aura will also be transformed into the aura of the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body. As for my face, the temperament of the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body is different from that of the Tuosh divine body. If I change a little, no one can associate me with Sudong. Changing appearance is easy, but as for Sudong's aura, few people know it. The 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body raised his hand, and suddenly there was an evil long sword wrapped in dark purple flames in his palm. Divine sword Nether Moon. Flowing fire divine robe. This treasure good is also for the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body to use. Sudong handed over many artifacts and magic weapons to the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body. The overall strength of my 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body is about the same as that of the 15th crown Shuriken, but with the addition of the star power, it can directly reach the 18th crown Shuriken. Tuosh divine body did not dare to use the star power wantonly, but the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body was different. It could use it casually. Then Tuosh divine body entered the core data space. Only Sudong's 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body was left in the spring and autumn boat. His lavender eyes were like purple crystals, and clusters of purple flames were embroidered on his white robe. He carried a long sword on his back, and his whole body exuded an evil aura. Sudong lowered his head and looked at him. Haha, who can recognize me now as Sudong? Sudong smiled. He couldn't help but be cautious. After all, there were too many strong people in the void area of the Dao Palace. For example, the many top strong people carefully cultivated by the 4 major forces of void life. Any one of them would be a giant. There are also powerful true masters in the purgatory life, and even the prism master. In addition to these, there are also those who rely on their own cultivation to achieve success, or those born from the innate, rising silently against the sky. After the innate creatures are born with intelligence, they will naturally have the ability to protect themselves, so the chance of rising is still very high, and most of the innate creatures are independent. Although they have no backing, they have their own abilities and talents, and they can rely on them. I will pretend to be an independent and powerful innate creature. Sudong grinned, and clusters of beautiful purple flames naturally jumped out in the space around him. This book has been updated recently in #@. Update. Of course, the innate creatures are strong as individuals. Those who can get along well in the Asking Deo Palace still have a big backstage behind them. With a background, all parties will be afraid. It is said that there are even disciples of the emperor here, which is extremely noble. In a word, in the Asking Deo Palace, the Shura King with 17 crowns and 18 crowns can only be regarded as an ordinary strong man, and the Shura King of the 10 palaces is considered a master. Sudong dared to come, relying on some means, and the temptation of the 9 tribulations divine thunder was enough, so he was willing to take some risks. From Shianou Lake to Wanloi Palace, you can only fly tens of thousands of miles a day. This distance is far enough. Fly slowly. I hope it will be peaceful all the way. Sudong drove the spring and autumn boat, and flew along the vast lake. The spring and autumn boat was a flying divine object after all. If a strong person saw it along the way, the other party would hide away early. After all, those who can get along in the Wendeo Palace have some vision. Seeing a flying divine object from afar, they know that it is not easy to mess with. They flew like this for more than 10 days. But a transparent white divine light floated from the front. Is there a treasure in the world? Sudong looked through the spring and autumn boat, and saw that in the depths of the vast blue waves in the distance, there were layers of divine light shining in all directions, illuminating the thousands of miles of lakes. In the reflection of the light, the vast divine power was surging and floating, and there were faint colorful clouds in the center, and strong people flew quickly from all directions of the lake. As expected of the Taoist temple, there are so many treasures that can be easily found. It looks like a spiritual treasure. Sudong exclaimed, such a big commotion in the world must be extraordinary. Let's go and take a look. Whoosh. The spring and autumn boat was shining brightly, and flew away quickly, flying to the center of the layers of divine light. But it had not yet flown within 1,000 miles. Boom. Sudong saw through the spring and autumn boat that a huge palm of 100 feet in size slapped over. The palm was wrapped in wind and thunder, and had extraordinary power, and it was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it slapped in front of the spring and autumn boat. Without saying anything, it pressed down directly like a mountain. Get out of here quickly. There was also a rumbling roar. The roar came from a Taoist in a black robe. The Taoist had a cone-shaped sharp horn on his forehead. At this moment, his eyes were wide open and quite ferocious. Thanks to the reward from book friend 42,682, boss, 3 more chapters are sent. Chapter 780 Glazed Ice Fruit. Boom. That huge palm slapped on the spring and autumn boat. The surface of the spring and autumn boat was covered with a streamer shield. The spring and autumn boat was good at defense. This defense ability could even withstand attacks of the level of the 10 palaces Shura King. Therefore, when the spring and autumn boat was attacked by this tyrannical and overbearing huge palm, the streamer flickered and shook slightly, and it easily withstood it. The spring and autumn boat's defense ability was amazing. In addition, Sudong's own divine body was not weak. A little attack power penetrated into it. Sudong only felt a gentle breeze blowing on his face, without any effect. Blocked. The black-robed one-horned Taoist who launched this fierce attack changed his face slightly, marveling at the defensiveness of this flying divine object, which could withstand his violent palm. Get out. Sudong also shouted angrily. In an instant, purple flames appeared in front of him. These beautiful and hot purple divine flames jumped, causing the surrounding void to twist into ripples and turn into a world of flames. Endless 9 nether divine fires burned towards the one-horned Taoist. The sky was full of 9 nether divine fires. One of the crystal clear purple knuckles was the real attack center, and the others were just burning power. The purple fingerprints penetrated the sky and the earth. Divine fire 10,000 tribulations finger. Boom. The one-horned Taoist waved his palm to block it. The two collided, and the one-horned Taoist's divine body suddenly grew larger, becoming more than 900 feet tall. It was as majestic as a small mountain, and black light was flowing on the surface of his divine body. The black light faintly gathered into a terrifying beast shadow. No matter how the 9 nether divine fire bombarded his divine body, it could not blast open his skin. The divine fire 10,000 tribulations finger was also blocked by a palm. However, the power penetrated. The divine body of the black-horned Taoist retreated hundreds of meters. Sudong had a flying divine object to protect his body. He did not. Humph. With a cold snort, the towering one-horned Taoist turned around and left in an instant. A powerful innate creature? With such a flying divine object, the divine fire method is also extraordinary. It is a big enemy. The one-horned Taoist flew away quickly and looked at Chun Qiuzhou with great vigilance. You are qualified to compete for the spiritual treasure. Am I qualified? Su Dong did not chase after him because of the speed of the Taoist palace. It would take a lot of time to catch up. Unless they fight to the death, there is no need to chase him. It is worthy of being the Taoist palace. Strong people gather here. Su Dong also sighed at the strength of the one-horned Taoist. Of course, the fact that he dared to attack so casually proved that the one-horned Taoist was also a hegemon in this area. In the previous attack, I only activated 30% of the star power. 30% of the star power can be equal to him. Well, almost. Su Dong was also full of confidence. Whoosh. He drove the spring and autumn boat to continue flying forward. Be careful of the owner of the flying boat. The old devil with black horns can't do anything. Now many strong people who originally had ideas about Su Dong avoided him. The previous attack also made them see the horror of the owner of the flying boat. The sky was full of divine fire, and a slightly weaker divine body might be burned to ashes. Su Dong continued to fly forward. Other figures dared not approach, but a moment later a golden cloud carrying a tall and thin holy spirit flew over. My fellow Taoist, I'm Zhen Yangzi of Xianshan Palace. The tall and thin holy spirit greeted from a distance. There was a hint of flattery in his tone. Although his strength was extraordinary, he was still a certain distance away from the black-horned Taoist, who had attacked earlier. He looked down on ordinary strong men, but the owner of this flying boat was able to fight against the black-horned Taoist, and was not inferior, so he was naturally worthy of making friends. Get lost. Su Dong snorted coldly. Boom. The spring and autumn boat suddenly became larger, becoming 100 feet high, and rushed forward. Zhen Yangzi's face changed, and he quickly dodged, rumbling. The huge boat almost brushed against Zhen Yangzi and flew past. The latter was quite embarrassed. After dodging, he looked at the boat shadow that was quickly moving away with an uneasy look. Zhen Yangzi snorted coldly. He was kind enough to make friends, but the other party spoke ill of him. It was really not giving him face. But those who know innate creatures know that innate creatures are unique and naturally eccentric. Another stupid innate creature, eccentric and arrogant. The spring and autumn boat advanced rapidly, and in just a few breaths, Su Dong arrived at the place where the vast divine light was emitting. He saw a small island suspended in the vast lake. On the island was a small courtyard with a beautiful view. There was a white jade tree growing in the courtyard. The vast divine light was radiating from the jade tree. In the light, there were 6 white jade fruits hanging on the tree, and there was a faint Taoist essence in them. It turned out to be the glazed ice fruit. The glazed ice fruit that can improve the realm of Taoism. Su Dong's eyes lit up, and he was secretly delighted. This glazed ice fruit is a first-class spiritual material, which is of great use to the Holy Spirit, but it is rare to encounter it. I didn't expect to encounter it here. It's not fully ripe yet. Don't pick it. Picking it will destroy it. When it matures, the fruit will fall off. Su Dong looked at it with a burning gaze. There were strong men watching from all directions on the lake, and Xianyu Lake was full of blue waves. All the masters can be seen clearly on the lake's surface at a glance, and the only place to hide is in the lake. Master of the flying boat. The Taoist priest with black horns was also among the many masters, and he looked at Su Dong's spring and autumn boat with fear in his eyes. This book has been updated recently in #@. Update. Wait. Su Dong sat cross-legged in the spring and autumn boat. Ignoring others, he waited silently, and the divine light surged into the sky. This spiritual fruit has reached the last moment of fruit ripening. During this waiting time, masters arrived one after another, among which there were 7 masters comparable to the Taoist priest with black horns, and the rest were not as good. They all watched from afar. Many masters naturally noticed the spring and autumn boat, and communicated with each other. They all knew that the flying boat was not easy to mess with. The value of flying divine objects is still extremely high, especially flying divine objects such as flying boats that are good at defense. In a blink of an eye, half a day passed. Master of the flying boat, are you a congenital creature? A holy spirit that looked like an ape in the distance transmitted the voice, wearing divine armor, which was quite majestic. I'm also an innate creature. I'm alone, and I'm good at attacking and killing. You have a flying divine object. How about we join forces? Look at these many strong men. They have all joined forces secretly. Joined forces? Sudong glanced at the ape. It is indeed an innate creature, good at attacking and killing. If we take the spiritual fruit, how will we distribute it? Naturally, we will divide it equally. The ape quickly transmitted the message. Sudong smiled, then shook his head and said, no need. All the spiritual fruits are mine. What? The ape holy spirit stared. Time passed. On the lake. One by one, the strong men were waiting silently, always paying attention to the jade tree in the island courtyard. This jade tree has been rooted here for who knows how many years, and it should have been targeted by strong men in the past. The Taoist priest with black horns was one of them. Suddenly, buzz, the divine light swayed, and the jade tree in the courtyard trembled, and the 6 fruits immediately broke away from the jade tree. But this kind of spiritual material seemed to have spirits, and they were all suspended without falling. Each of the 6 fruits looked like crystal clear ice glass, with a light golden halo, like a beautiful gem. Is it ripe? The many powerful men who looked around were all excited. It's mine. The first one to rush out, and the one who rushed to the front was the Blackhorn Taoist. Make a move. A group of powerful men took action instantly. Each used his own methods to fight for the glass ice fruit. Sudong sat in the flying boat. His eyes were also fixed on the 6 fruits. Chapter 781. Collect the precious good. That courtyard should be a cave heaven magic weapon left behind by a powerful person. Although I haven't tested it, there must be a formation to protect it. Let's watch them break the formation first. The dark purple eyes of Sudong's 9 nether fire lotus divine body were calm and confident. Boom. The Blackhorn Taoist and a silver-robed Holy Spirit were in the front. The Blackhorn Taoist waved his palm, and the misty air swirled on his palm, forming a huge palm print that directly grabbed the ice fruit in the courtyard. The silver-robed Holy Spirit held a long rope magic weapon, and the long rope was surrounded by golden light, rushing towards the courtyard like a golden snake. Slash. Both of them took it head on. The lake water around the entire courtyard was pressed by the power to form gullies in the water, but the courtyard was motionless, and a formation with flowing light emerged from the courtyard. The formation was activated instantly. Suddenly, a violent force was formed out of thin air, and the blue divine thunder, the red divine fire, and the black wind evil broke out at the same time. Boom boom boom. For a time, the void roared, and the strange phenomenon was raging. What a powerful formation. Fortunately, the power of the formation is scattered. If it is concentrated, it would be more than level 10. Sudong thought to himself. No hurry, let them break the formation. There were hundreds of holy spirits watching from afar, but only 13 of them actually took action. Among these 13, the lowest strength was at the level of apes, and the highest was the same as that of the one-horned Taoist. In Sudong's opinion, they were all strong men who had reached the threshold of the 18-crown shuriken. Because of their strength, they were naturally very confident. Break the formation first, as long as we take the ice fruit. Who can take it away? The one-horned Taoist was very confident. He waved his palm and rushed forward with all his strength. We can't let him get ahead. Break the formation. Break the formation. The 13 strong men broke the formation at the same time. Some used their Taoist magic, while others enlarged their bodies and savagely crushed over, trying to break the magic with force. Among them, the ape that sent a message to Sudong to join forces with him turned into a golden-haired giant ape with a whoosh, 9,000 feet tall. His body was the tallest and largest among those present. The surface of his body was flowing with golden light, and he punched the courtyard formation. No matter how the wind, thunder, and fire hit his fist, they could not resist it. That punch almost shook and collapsed the courtyard formation. What a powerful body, although it is not as good as my Tush body and Ishan Liubo body. But the difference is not big. Sudong nodded silently. He had a little bit of the star transformation, and this ape should be purely relying on talent. Boom. 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 The 13 strong men all cast spells to break the formation, and the violent power fell on the courtyard formation like a rainstorm. Wave after wave. The attacks of the 13 masters became more and more fierce, and they kept on increasing. However, the formation was dead. As the power was consumed, the power was getting smaller and smaller. Finally, after more than 10 waves of power, the formation suddenly exploded. Boom. The moment the formation was broken, the courtyard was blurry, and it was faintly fading from the space. This courtyard is indeed a cave heaven magic weapon, which can shelter and hide itself. Of course. The 6 glazed ice fruits in it were no longer blocked. This moment was enough for these holy spirits to attack 100 times. Mine. The one-horned Taoist rushed to the front, and a wide airflow palm condensed in front of him, and the huge palm stretched out like lightning. He wanted to hold the 6 glazed ice fruits directly in his hand. The idea was extremely beautiful, but how could the 12 holy spirits behind him let him do it? Get out of the way. The huge ape like a mountain flashed with golden light, and rumbled and punched the one-horned Taoist. Whoosh. A long rope like a spirit snake also stretched out to the spirit fruit, and many magic weapons and artifacts, as well as many magical arts and magical powers burst out at the same time. 8 of the 12 powerful holy spirits had powerful binding magic weapons, including ropes, large nets, and strange centipede-like 1,000-section whips. They all wrapped around the one-horned Taoist priest in the front. Ah, this is mine. The one-horned Taoist priest didn't care, and grabbed it with a palm. He was indeed the closest, and the huge airflow palm directly grasped 6 glazed ice fruits. Kill. Want to monopolize it? One-horned, you are looking for death. The other 12 powerful warriors suddenly exploded. The silver-robed holy spirit and a tall demon shadow launched terrifying magical powers at the same time, bombarding the one-horned Taoist priest like destroying the world. The golden giant ape was even more crazy, pounding his chest with both fists, roaring to the sky, and then grabbing the one-horned Taoist priest with both hands, trying to crush him. The others all had hideous faces. They were completely crazy. Damn it. The one-horned Taoist priest wanted to use means to escape, but the attack was too fierce, and he couldn't even escape. All kinds of binding methods came, and he was the target of everyone's criticism. In an instant, he was wrapped like a dumpling. Together with the other 12 powerful saints who were not weaker than him, almost instantly, the divine body of the one-horned Taoist was almost shattered, and his divine blood was scattered. Madman. The one-horned Taoist panicked. Those who besieged him were all strong. He could hold on for a short time, but he would die if he held on for a while longer. I thought I was strong enough to protect myself. I was careless. You want to take it? Take it away. The one-horned Taoist roared fiercely, and then waved his hand fiercely, and 3 streams of light suddenly burst out from between his fingers. The 3 streams of light were 3 glazed ice fruits. Take the ice fruit. 3. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. 1 is mine. Suddenly, many powerful people locked their eyes on the 3 glazed ice fruits, and the pressure on the one-horned Taoist was reduced. It quickly turned into a faint light and flew away. 6 glazed ice fruits. I threw out 3, and attracted 9 strong men to fight for them. It's a good deal. The remaining 3, 1 green demon, 1 sword-wind immortal, and the silver robe. They can't stop me at all. The one-horned Taoist was full of joy. There were a total of 6 glazed ice fruits, and he took half of them. It was enough. This is a spiritual material that can improve the realm. Stupid, the unicorn escaped. Chase. A strong man reacted and turned back. The one-horned Taoist fled madly, and suddenly, a flying boat blocked his way. Ah, flying boat owner, don't stop me. The one-horned Taoist roared, furious. The flying boat owner didn't make a move just now. Now he comes to intercept him. Hand over the glazed ice fruit. Whoosh. Sudong's figure appeared outside the spring and autumn boat, and the evil 9 nether fire lotus divine body looked at the one-horned Taoist coldly. Ridiculous. Boom. The one-horned Taoist waved his hand, holding a long halberd in his palm. With a fierce swing, the long halberd with great power swept across, directly splitting a huge black crack. Sudong sneered, turned his palm, and a dark golden gourd suddenly appeared in his palm. Precious gourd. Take it for me. Sudong urged the gourd, and the dark golden gourd suddenly expanded across the sky, and 2 dark golden air currents swept out, one towards the long halberd, and the other towards the glass ice fruit in the hands of the unicorn Taoist. What? In the blink of an eye, The shrunken long halberd in the glass ice fruit flew into the gourd. No. The face of the unicorn Taoist was distorted, shocked and angry. Sudong ignored him. He turned around directly. In the distance, the giant golden ape had just taken a glass ice fruit and wanted to escape. In front of him, a dark purple flame flashed, and a figure appeared. It was Sudong holding the gourd. Master of the flying boat. The giant golden ape snorted coldly. He was not afraid of this arrogant master of the flying boat at all. Precious gourd. Take it. Sudong smiled. Ha. The golden-haired giant ape was stunned. With its huge head, it saw a dark golden gourd floating above the head of Sudong, who was completely tiny compared to him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 782 All Mine. A dark golden airstream gushed out of the gourd, and it quickly drifted over and landed directly on its huge palm, like spider silk. It easily entangled the glazed ice fruit. The giant ape quickly clenched his palm and urged his divine power. Whoosh! But the glazed ice fruit was entangled by the dark golden airstream and quickly shrank. Then it flew from its palm and flew into the gourd above Sudong's head in the blink of an eye. Sudong raised his hand, and the gourd quickly shrank and fell into his hand. Damn it. The golden-haired giant ape was anxious. Sudong's evil face was smiling, and he weighed the gourd in his hand. There were already 4 glazed ice fruits in it. He could feel the fragrance and rich divinity of the fruit through the gourd. With this precious gourd, it's easy to rob treasures. You can easily get other people's treasures. Sudong laughed secretly. In fact, the owners of the precious gourd had relied on the gourd to plunder treasures, but in the end they were coveted by the strong. Fortune and disaster are interdependent and inevitable. It turns out that the owner of this flying boat has such a rare treasure. No wonder I just wanted to join forces with him, but he directly refused and said that all 6 spiritual fruits belonged to him. The golden-haired giant ape was anxious and angry, and at the same time extremely jealous. If he had such a treasure, what treasures would he not get? Now the spiritual fruit in his hand was robbed. How could it not be angry? Boom. The golden-haired giant ape stared at Sudong coldly. Seeing Sudong's smile, its huge fist suddenly blasted out like a falling meteor. Suddenly, it seemed as if the space exploded, and a punch blasted to the front. Sudong didn't even look at him, and whooshed into a flame. There are more than 1,000 ways to inherit the 9 Nether Fire Lotus life body skills, plus Sudong's own Chai and Lo Wang Xiang body skills. When the body skills are used, there is a purple flame, and only the trajectory can be seen. Easily avoid the punch. Then he flashed and flew to the front of a holy spirit with a happy face, holding a glass ice fruit in one hand. Among the 13 strong men, the only female holy spirit. She is good at body skills and a binding magic, and luckily got a glass ice fruit. But before she could warm it up, a dark golden airflow suddenly passed by. Whoosh! The glass ice fruit in the palm of her hand was swept away. Master of the flying boat. The beautiful face of the female holy spirit was twisted because of anger. Haha. Sudong laughed and left. He thought to himself, since you want to pretend to be an innate creature, you should be more arrogant and aloof. This is the character of an innate creature, fearless and unrestrained. The last glass ice fruit was in the hands of a holy spirit covered in a black robe. Sudong flew over. The holy spirit had long noticed that Sudong had repeatedly used the treasure gourd to loot the glass ice fruit, so he immediately put the glass ice fruit into the storage bag, and at the same time, the holy spirit lord directly rushed to Sudong coldly. Master of the flying boat, being too greedy will kill you. Under the Holy Spirit lore of the black-robed Holy Spirit, there was a strange divine power fluctuation, which easily destroyed the lake water into particles, and with a strong impact, it instantly suppressed Sudong. All mine. Sudong smiled, and there were lotus phantoms around him. It was the body protection method of the lotus god body, lotus transformation. The lotus phantoms rotated and bloomed in all directions with Sudong as the center, as if a purple lotus slowly opened. The strong impact rushed in, but was blocked in an instant, and at the same time, the majestic 9 nether god fire swept away. In the center of the flame, Sudong raised the dark gold gourd. Treasure gourd, collect. The misty dark gold airflow suddenly floated over. The black-robed Holy Spirit hurriedly tried to put the storage bag into the inner world, but it was too late. The dark golden airflow turned and took back the entire storage bag. Damn it, Flying Boat Master, you are looking for death. The black-robed Holy Spirit roared, and the entire black robe fluttered with his anger. Ah, kill this Flying Boat Master. Kill him. He took 6 glazed ice fruits by himself. The 13 strong men were all angry. The many Holy Spirits who were watching the changes in the distance were also stunned. The Flying Boat Master is really powerful. He took 6 spiritual fruits by himself. It's all thanks to the gourd in his hand. What kind of magic weapon is that gourd? How can it be so powerful? Exclamations arose everywhere. Just wait and see. He can't leave today. Some people also snorted coldly. The Flying Boat Master has a big appetite and wants to swallow all the glazed ice fruits. Prepare to bear the anger of 13 top Holy Spirits. Let's go. With the treasure in hand, Sudong was too lazy to fight with them anymore. A spring and autumn boat appeared behind him, and he went directly into the spring and autumn boat. Stop him. He can't leave. The one-horned Taoist waved his hand, and wide rivers appeared out of thin air between heaven and earth. The rivers were floating, containing power to block the flying boat from moving forward. The old man with a long sword, who was one of the inconspicuous 13 strong men, suddenly activated a huge sword formation, which seemed like heaven and earth. The world was full of sword light and sword energy, directly covering the spring and autumn boat. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. There was another one, who was also the female saint from before. A pair of beautiful transparent wings suddenly appeared behind the latter. The wings were released, and immediately emitted a dreamy brilliance. The brilliance was like a cocoon, directly wrapping Sudong's spring and autumn boat. In just a blink of an eye, Sudong saw the river, the world of sword light, and the dreamy cocoon, while driving the spring and autumn boat. The 3 binding magics. Previously, they were fighting for the glazed ice fruit, and they were targeting each other, so their power was not conspicuous, but now they were completely targeting Sudong, and the binding power suddenly skyrocketed. Quantitative change brings qualitative change. Boom boom boom. The surface of the spring and autumn boat trembled, and the speed was reduced to a snail. Sudong was stunned. So united. To deal with one person, the spring and autumn boat had no pressure, but to deal with this group, it reached the limit of the spring and autumn boat. Master of the flying boat, I will destroy your flying boat. The huge golden giant ape clenched his hand fiercely, and a bronze long stick suddenly appeared in his huge palm. The bronze long stick was thrown out fiercely, and the power gathered on the bronze long stick, and even misty phantoms appeared in the surrounding void. Each phantom was a bronze long stick smashed, and a total of 18 phantoms appeared, which were 18 bronze long sticks. Boom, boom, boom. The giant ape held a bronze long stick and smashed directly on Sudong's spring and autumn boat. Bang. The stream of light on the surface of the spring and autumn boat held for a moment, and the 18 stick shadows wrapped in the phantom seemed to cause the sky to collapse, and the earth to split. The stream of light on the surface of the spring and autumn boat was directly broken by the blast. What a strong power. Sudong was shocked. The spring and autumn boat is good at defense. It is reasonable that the defense limit can reach the level of the 10 palaces shuriken. But it was broken by the giant ape's stick. Obviously, the giant ape is good at strength, and the power of the stick is also very high. In addition, the bronze long stick is not ordinary. The superposition of each other, the burst of power is naturally extremely terrifying. Master of the flying boat, get out. The golden-haired giant ape grinned and roared. Holding the bronze long stick, it was like a terrifying demon god, and the momentum was overwhelming. Everything that blocked it was destroyed. Sudong's eyes were cold, and he swished. After collecting the spring and autumn boat, a pair of purple flame wings appeared behind Sudong. They were the special body movement technique of the 9 Nether Fire Lotus Divine Body, the Divine Fire Wings. With a flap of the Divine Fire Wings, Sudong flew 100 miles away. My 9 Nether Fire Lotus Divine Body is not good at strength, so I can't fight him head on. Sudong's eyes were cold, and he also stared at the giant ape. The other 12 strong men beside him were all eyeing him covetously. Please recommend, and please vote for me. Chapter 783, Playing Around. Treasure gourd, collect it. Sudang waved his palm and offered the dark golden gourd again. The gourd swelled in the wind, and the 13 strong men around him immediately put away their magic weapons. Even the golden-haired giant ape was startled and quickly put away the bronze stick in his hand. That gourd can collect magic weapons. Let's not use magic weapons. Yes, don't use magic weapons. 13 against 1. I don't believe that we can't kill the owner of this flying boat. The 13 strong men looked at Sudang coldly. Sudang had used the treasure gourd several times before to collect magic weapons and spiritual fruits, but it did not pose any threat to their lives. This shows the effectiveness of the gourd. Sudang couldn't help but sigh when he saw this. With such strength, no strong man is stupid. He can easily see the flaws of his treasure gourd. It is enough to crush him without using artifacts and magic weapons to deal with him. Although he sighed in his heart, a strange smile suddenly appeared on the handsome and evil face of Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body. One horned Taoist, you secretly sent a message to me. I will give you 3 glazed ice fruits, and you will help me leave. Haha, it's ridiculous. Who knows that there are other Taoist friends who are willing to help me for only 2 glazed ice fruits. Sudang laughed. His voice was not concealed, deliberately letting all the holy spirits present hear it. What? One-horned. Many powerful people looked at the one-horned Taoist in shock and anger. The one-horned Taoist also had an ugly face. Seeing many powerful people looking at him, he snorted coldly. This flying boat owner is really arrogant. I helped him with good intentions, but he ignored me and even said it out loud. The one-horned Taoist was furious in his heart, but his face was calm and composed. He said, "What are you looking at? You heard it too. Not only me, but there are also people who are willing to help him for 2 glazed ice fruits." Everyone looked at each other immediately. Flying boat owner, don't think about alienating us. The golden-haired giant ape roared. Rumble. The void around him trembled, and countless golden and powerful divine powers surged out of his huge divine body, quickly gathered on his huge fists, and instantly blasted towards Sudang. The divine fire wings behind Sudang flapped, and the 9 nether divine fire spread to cover the surrounding area for hundreds of miles. The majestic purple flames stacked up layer by layer, forming a lotus petal shape. The lotus transformation body protection method was performed to protect the divine body. At the same time, layers of fire lotus bloomed, and Sudang's figure flashed suddenly. In the flames, Sudang's clones appeared one after another in an instant, a total of 3,000 clones, each of which could be mistaken for the real thing. Because it was covered with the 9 nether divine fire, the laws of the Holy Spirit could not penetrate. This body method is another great magic of the 9 nether fire lotus divine body. 3,000 lotus leaves. Boom. The golden-haired giant ape punched down, blasting away the layers of flames, but only touched one of Sudang's clones, and the rest were intact. Suddenly, Sudang's 3,000 clones all drew their swords at the same time, and the divine sword Nether Moon, which was flashing with dark purple flames, fell into their hands. The 9 nether god fire divine power was infused into it, and the majestic power trembled. It pointed at the golden-haired giant ape from a distance and shouted, "Nether style." Swish. A dark purple knife light was like a crescent moon, and the surrounding void was distorted. This was one of Sudang's new sword techniques. The pursuit was the ultimate speed. The dark purple knife light crossed a strange and unpredictable arc, like a dark moon falling in the sky, leaving a hideous black crack in the void. Obviously, not only was the speed extremely fast, but the power of the sword technique was also extraordinary. Break. The golden-haired giant ape roared and punched out again. This punch was like a mountain pressing down on the top of the head. The crescent-like knife light and fist collided in the air. It was like an assassin in the shadows colliding with a general who commanded thousands of troops. The fist as big as a mountain broke the knife light with one punch. My 9 nether fire lotus divine body, which has activated 80% of the star power, can't block its punch. Sudang was secretly shocked. He knew that the golden-haired giant ape was good at strength, but this was too strong. In a head-on confrontation, his 9 nether fire lotus divine body was indeed no match for it. Get up. Sudang was surrounded by divine fire, and many of them turned into fire dragons, and attacked the golden-haired giant ape at the same time. The latter did not dodge or avoid it at all. The golden-haired giant ape's body surface radiated golden light, and it easily withstood Sudong's 9 nether divine fire, and grinned. "That's all you can do." Sudong's eyes condensed slightly, and his figure flashed. "I won't play with you anymore." Heavenly all things. Whoosh, above the vast expanse of blue waves, Sudong's figure instantly reached the extreme speed. Among the many inheritance methods of the 9 nether fire lotus divine body, there are more than 1,000 methods of body movement skills. Because the 9 nether fire lotus divine body is naturally suitable for body movement, plus Sudong's own attainments in body movement. Once the heavenly all things body movement is performed, suddenly it turned into shadows. Oh no, the owner of this flying boat is trying to escape. Stop him. What a fast body movement. The 13 strong men all changed their expressions. 13 people surrounded one person. If the other party escaped, it would be ridiculous. Suddenly, they used their methods one by one. But most of them couldn't even touch the corner of Sudong's clothes. There was no way. Cheyenne Lo Wang Xiang's body movement was fast, but the strongest one was weird. Infinite changes. Easily avoided attacks one by one. So fast. This book was recently updated in #at. Update. This is too fast. The golden-haired giant ape could only watch. It was born with strength, and the thing it was least good at was body movement speed. Sudong's face changed slightly, moving at high speed. A divine light floated by the side, and Sudong looked over. But he saw a figure with perfect curves, stretching out the beautiful transparent wings behind him. The wings emitted a dreamy divine light, trying to wrap around Sudong. She is good at binding and body movements. The only one who could catch up with Sudong's speed was the female Holy Spirit. At this moment, the beautiful face of the female Holy Spirit was deformed by anger. Her eyes were fixed on Sudong. Of the 13 people present, the 4 who hated Sudong the most were the one-horned Taoist, the golden-haired giant ape, the black-robed Holy Spirit and the female Holy Spirit. Because the spiritual fruits they had obtained were all taken away by Sudong, and the others had no hatred and just wanted to take the ice fruit. Some were even happy. After all, they had suffered losses in the previous robbery. Female Holy Spirit, help me leave, and I will give you an ice fruit. How about that? Sudong whispered. What? The female Holy Spirit was stunned. Although she was angry, her primary target was naturally the glazed ice fruit. Be careful, he escaped. Suddenly, angry shouts were heard everywhere. The female Holy Spirit suddenly reacted and looked over. But she saw that Sudong's figure seemed to turn into a line of fire, and in the blink of an eye, it was thousands of miles away, and then the spring and autumn boat appeared. The spring and autumn boat burst out at high speed, and disappeared directly into the horizon. Haha. Everyone, please stay. No need to see you off. Sudong's arrogant laughter sounded. Arsehole. He escaped. The owner of the flying boat, the female Holy Spirit with transparent wings floating behind her, was furious. She was fooled by Sudong again. This flying boat owner has a flying boat and a good treasure. His body movement speed is also extremely terrifying. Every strong man was unwilling to give in. A bunch of idiots. If we work together, how could we let him escape? The golden-haired giant ape grinned and roared. The Holy Spirits were silent. They were indeed fooled by the flying boat owner's words. This battle was seen by many strong men. When they saw Sudong finally escape unscathed, they were all stunned. He can even escape like this? What a terrifying body movement speed. No one can stop him at all. Chapter 784 Deoxuan Realm. What do you mean no one can stop it? Didn't Fairy Mengjin almost bind the divine fire life? Unfortunately, she hesitated for a moment at the end. Everyone was talking about it. They saw it clearly. Fairy Mengjin's beautiful face gnashed her teeth, and she remembered the figure deeply in her mind. The 9 nether divine fire life, the arrogant innate creature. I'm not as good as him, so I have nothing to say. After saying this, Fairy Mengjin turned and left. Damn it, the divine fire life is average in strength, but his body skills are good. If I had the help of a strong man who is good at binding, I could easily kill him. The golden-haired giant ape roared in anger. Humph. The one-horned Taoist snorted coldly. Without saying a word, he turned around and turned into a stream of light and left. In this battle, he was supposed to be the biggest winner, but he didn't expect to end up empty-handed. The treasure belongs to those who are virtuous. The divine fire life has means, so the treasure should be his. The black-robed Holy Spirit smiled instead, seemingly quite generous. The strong men dispersed. Those who were in the Wendeo Palace spread the news of this battle. Within a few days, everyone knew that a Holy Spirit appeared in the outer area of the Wendeo Palace. His body was a congenital creature, a holy fire, and he was driving a flying boat. He held a strange treasure gourd in his hand, which could collect magic weapons and many spiritual objects. His Taoist power was average, but he was extremely good at moving. The reputation of the strong was gained through fighting. After a big battle, Sudang's 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body was famous in the outer area of the Wendeo Palace. It was recognized that his 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body was average in strength, cunning and arrogant, good at moving, and full of treasures. The flying boat, the treasure gourd, and the ability to snatch treasures. You can imagine how rich he was. His reputation was great, and many strong men secretly targeted Sudang. Killing a strong man like him was better than wandering in the Wendeo Palace for thousands of years. Whoosh! The spring and autumn boat shuttled across the lake, moving at high speed. Sudang was sitting cross-legged in the boat. He counted the many gains from this battle. He also reflected on his performance in this battle. With the treasure gourd, it is convenient to collect spiritual treasures. I also got 3 artifacts by accident, 1 epic artifact long halberd, and 2 top artifacts. 3 magic weapons were suspended in front of Sudang. The most conspicuous one was a pitch black divine halberd, which was wrapped with wind and thunder. It was pitch black and cold, exuding the fascinating divinity of the epic artifact. After the epic artifact dripped blood to recognize the owner, the original owner was not dead, and the mark needed to be erased. It's a bit troublesome. Sudang flipped his hand and put the divine halberd into the core data space. There was a mark on the divine halberd, and the one-horned Taoist could determine his position based on the divine halberd. He put it into the core data space and isolated all the breath so that the one-horned Taoist could not feel it. With Sudang's divine power, he could erase the mark in half a day. The other 2 top artifacts were a black long banner and a square seal. They were all obtained from the storage bag of the Black Robe Holy Spirit. This storage bag shouldn't be the place where the Holy Spirit mainly puts treasures. The glazed ice fruit was also put there in a hurry. Sudang thought to himself, who would believe that a strong man who has reached the 18th crown of Shuriken has only this little belonging? Many strong men put their treasures in the inner world or in their personal space and only put the unimportant ones in the storage bag. In addition to the 3 artifacts, there are 6 glazed ice fruits. This is Sudang's biggest gain this time. After seeing the gains, reflect on this battle. This battle has allowed me to see the horror of the Wendeo Palace. A strong man who has reached the threshold of the 18th crown of Shuriken can be picked out at random. Moreover, I haven't met a strong man trained by a big force yet. In the previous battle, whether it was the one-horned Taoist or the golden-haired giant ape, none of them had a big background, but they were all amazing. Of course, it was also because Sudang used the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body. Not only did he not use his own sword skills, the star power was only stimulated to 80% at most, and it didn't burst into the ultimate mode. If it burst, it would be a fight. There is no need to fight hard. My 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body is much stronger than the average 9 Nether Fire Lotus Holy Spirit, but even so, it has only just touched the level of the 18 crown Shuriken. This is still relying on the star power, innate magical powers, mainly the star power. Sudang shook his head, and the treasure gourd. The treasure gourd suppresses the artifact magic weapon, and I also took a big advantage in the battle. The outer strong have such strength. What about the 10 Thunder Palace in the inner area? Sudang exclaimed, and it also made him sober. The inner area is dominated by the level of the 10 Palace Shuriken, and the core area is where the domination realm and even the Emperor Venerable Strong appear. The inner area is okay, most of them are the places where the 10 Palace Shurikens go. Although my strength is not enough, I have many treasures and means to venture into the 10,000th Thunder Palace. As for other areas, I won't go there for the time being. First, it is not efficient to go there without a clear goal to get treasure. Second, it is too dangerous. If you are not strong enough, you should be more restrained. I'm almost at the edge of Xianyu Lake. Once I get there, at my current speed, I'll be able to fly to the 10,000th Thunder Palace in about 10 days. When I'm strong enough, I'll explore this Dao Palace. Sudong thought to himself. The spring and autumn boat flew along the lake at high speed. This book has been updated recently on #at. Update. Occasionally, we'll see strong men traveling back and forth. Basically, everything was safe and sound. While traveling, Sudong also took the glazed ice fruit. Although the three major divine bodies can take it through the core data space sharing, the effect of the glazed ice fruit is to improve the realm. Sudong's realm is only the strongest. The effect of the spiritual fruit can be maximized when it is taken by the Tuosh divine body. Although the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body is unique and Sudong is willing to spend treasures to cultivate it, the realm of the divine fire is still slowly improving. Taking the glazed ice fruit may not necessarily lead to a breakthrough. And the Black Mountain Flowing Wave divine body is not to mention. Although the spiritual fruit is a treasure, it is also extremely difficult to raise the realm of the Black Mountain Flowing Wave divine body to a breakthrough. You know, the 5-colored stone clone is the first body that Sudong reincarnated in the void, and he has been practicing for the longest time, but his progress is the slowest, and the slower it is in the later stages. This is still due to the blessing of Sudong's core data space. There is no way. The foundation is too important. The foundation, to a certain extent, also represents the height that can be reached in the future. The 5-colored stone foundation is too weak. Tush divine body, taking 6 glass ice fruits. The first one, the realm of Taoism, is raised to the limit. Sudong feels that the way of death is almost understood. The second one, faintly derived life and death. The outline of the road of life and death seems to be reflected in front of him. The third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, until the sixth one. The last one. Sudong's Tuoshi divine body took the last glass ice fruit in the core data space. When the beautiful glass ice fruit, like a gem, entered his mouth and turned into a rich divine power that emanated from his body, an invisible strange energy suddenly erupted from Sudong's Tuoshi divine body, just like a dam that had been accumulating for a long time, suddenly opening the gates to release the flood. This violent energy penetrated Sudong's Tuoshi divine body's Dantian, like a dragon soaring into the sky, a rock spreading its wings, soaring up to 90,000 miles. The originally calm Sudong suddenly changed his expression, and then a strong joy arose spontaneously. Breakthrough. In the Dantian, sections of the bridge built by the Dao Yun shone brightly, the divine mist was filled, the spiritual light was dense, the heavenly Dao descended, and directly turned into the purest essence of the Dao Yun, and gathered in Sudong's divine body, making the Dao Shendan even more brilliant. Life. Death. Reincarnation. The mysterious sounds of Brahma resounded through his heart, and the many sacred methods and new insights made Sudong feel as if he had been enlightened. This feeling was extremely wonderful and touching. This is the Daoxuan realm. Chapter 785, Realm Improvement. This is the avenue of life and death. The divine voice floated, like the sound of a bell on the avenue. But, Sudong's core data space will could not help but immerse in it at this moment. The extremely powerful divine power rolled out a huge wave, as if cheering and leaping to welcome the avenue veins that kept coming. At the same time, the dazzling and brilliant Dao Shendan also rose with divine clouds, extremely brilliant. When the realm was raised, the divine power was also rapidly raised and poured to the limit. I saw the incomparable divine power burst out instantly when the supreme perfect avenue condensed into the avenue bridge, and a trace of divine light and brilliant Dao energy rushed into the limbs and bones of Sudong's Tuosh divine body. The feeling of the divine power rising even made Sudong tremble with excitement. It was too wonderful and comfortable. The whole body of the divine body trembled, and the muscles could not help but tremble. The light within 3 inches of the body condensed into a divine robe, spreading a sacred light. Sudong's entire divine body was from the inside out, as if accompanied by divine blood, and the divine light reflected. Sudong's divine body completely turned golden. Brilliant golden. My divine power has increased so much. Sudong thought to himself. He felt that his whole body was filled with surging divine power. The divine power contained the essence of life and death. The bright and dazzling one was life, and the cold and dark one was death. When the avenue of life and death converged, it turned out that the reincarnation of life was so magnificent. The improvement was also so vast. From the Daochu realm to the Daozuan realm, it was indeed a transformation. Just like when Sudong stimulated the star divine power in the Daochu realm, he could make the divine power level reach the Daozuan realm. The realm improvement. The most direct impact is the improvement of divine power. While Sudong's divine body slightly rose, like a supreme god reflecting the past and present, and then released dazzling light. At this moment, Sudong seemed to have turned into a man of light. It feels so strange. I feel that the heavenly Dao is completely under control, commanding the Dao Yun. Sudong's will was immersed in it, and he could easily feel the various changes brought about by the Daozuan realm. This process turned out to be so mysterious. It seemed that under the heavenly Dao, his authority was increased again. In the past, he only controlled a little bit of the power of the Dao Yun, but now he completely controlled most of it. In the core data space, the divine light was dense, and his breathing was fluctuating. Sudong's Tuosh divine body sat cross-legged there, and his body seemed to form a huge shadow of the Dao Yun divine robe. The divine robe was added, and it was supreme. Then the divine robe gradually faded, slowly moved up, and Sudong's divine body slowly returned to normal. Then, all the divine mists retreated. It's over. Sudong slowly exhaled a long breath, and then opened his eyes. The breakthrough was rapid. It's just that this feeling really made him feel fascinated. The enlightenment of the Tao, the infusion of divine power, and the comfort of the transformation of the divine body are the gifts that all life constantly pursues. That is the beauty of the level of improvement. Look at my current divine power level. Sudong clenched his palm with the divine body of Tuosh, and a ball of divine power light appeared in his palm. The divine power light was dazzling and brilliant. The power was magnificent. It has increased by exactly 56 times compared to the past, close to 80% of the power of stimulating 7-star divine powers in the past. In terms of divine power improvement, star divine power is more terrifying. Boom. Sudong punched out, the core data space trembled, and chaotic airflows were shaken away. There was no divine power gathered on Sudong's fist, only a layer of purple gold light covered the surface of his fist. The light was inconspicuous, but it almost made the core data space tremble with one punch. Sudong's core data space has been transformed until now, and it has long been extremely solid. It turned into a small world, and exploded with one punch. The level of the divine body has been improved in general, almost not at all. Sudong shook his head slightly. Although he could feel the comfort of divine power entering his divine body when he broke through before, Sudong's divine body was too terrifying. It was no longer something that could be improved by divine power at the Daozuan realm. A little divine power was just nourishment, so there was almost no change. The level of the soul has also improved. The soul is the strongest. I feel that the whole soul is much clearer. With a thought, the chaotic airflow in front of him rumbled and condensed into a big snake. The big snake circled, and the invisible power of the soul seemed to turn into 10 fingers, easily mobilizing terrifying power. The soul is strong. On the one hand, the soul attack and defense are improved, and on the other hand, the comprehension talent, perception and other things are also improved. Try to comprehend the swordsmanship. Sudong waved his hand casually, his palm was like a knife. Although he just raised his hand, his swordsmanship attainments were so high. When he raised his hand, it was a delicate swordsmanship. When he used the swordsmanship, he felt different. The mysterious swordsmanship that was originally obscure and difficult to grasp seemed to be directly presented in front of him at this moment. Raise your hand and raise your foot. Death, destruction, violence, gentleness, all kinds of mysteries of swordsmanship came to mind. Incomparably clear, incomparably thorough. Devil's prison blood kill. Sudong waved his hand, and the sword light gathered together. The swordsmanship that was like a volcanic eruption was displayed, destroying the world. Netherworld style. The sword light of the shadow assassin instantly dissipated, ethereal and traceless, and gathered everywhere. Yanaluo sword. A sword that gathered death, and the sword meant the coming of death. 1,000 souls and 10,000 blades. The blurred black sword shadows burst out layer by layer, containing the power of soul penetration. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. Swordsmanship was performed one after another because it was in the core data space. So Sudan could easily feel the subtle changes of each sword. Incomparably perfect. This is the swordsmanship, Sudan exclaimed, his eyes full of joy. The more he performed, the more enjoyable it was. The improvement of Realm has a very obvious understanding of Tao. You should know that Sudan has lit up 8 stars, and his understanding of talent has reached a terrifying level. It is generally recognized that when the realm is improved to Daoxuan realm, the understanding will be greatly improved, and the understanding of Taoism will also be accelerated. This is why it is said that only in Daoxuan realm can one master the 10th level of Shian Weishan sword method, or even the 11th level, because the understanding of swordsmanship is to heaven defying. And Sudan's star system has transformed again and again, which has improved his understanding again and again. Now that he has broken through again, his understanding has almost reached the level of perfection. What is the concept of understanding at the level of perfection? He has a very clear understanding of any Taoism, and can vaguely sense the general outline of the 11th level of Shian Weishan sword method, and can outline the outline of the 12th level. This feeling is too mysterious. The originally difficult method became clear in an instant. Similarly, with the breakthrough of Tush Divine Body, the core data realm is shared, and the 9 Nether Fire Lotus Divine Body and the Black Mountain Flow Wave Divine Body also have a chain reaction and breakthrough one after another. Haha, it feels so good. Sudan smiled. In the spring and autumn boat, the 9 Nether Fire Lotus Divine Body also opened its eyes excitedly. Feeling the transformation of the Divine Body, it also felt the clarity of the Divine Fire Avenue. This is the Daoxuan realm. Divine Fire 10,000 Tribulations Finger. This is how it should be used. Sudan was completely immersed in enlightenment. The spring and autumn boat moved forward. 9 days passed in the blink of an eye. Boom. The spring and autumn boat shook violently. Sudan opened his eyes immediately, and his dark purple eyes looked towards the outside world, only to see a thick layer of clouds outside. There were tens of millions of lightning snakes scurrying in the clouds, and a towering palace stood under the lightning snakes. From a distance, the palace was semicircular. Surrounding it were 6 small palaces, each of which was emitting purple thunder. We have arrived at the 10,000th Thunder Palace. Sudan looked at the palace happily, and couldn't help but smile. At this moment, the divine power surged and accelerated the spring and autumn boat. Whoosh! The spring and autumn boat flashed, and quickly flew towards the semicircular palace. Chapter 786, 10,000th Thunder Palace. The semicircular palace can be seen from a distance, but when flying into this area, purple thunders descended from the sky. Chun Kiao's high resisted while advancing, and it took several hours to fly close. The 10,000th Thunder Palace, only the semicircular palace in the center, is the 10,000th Thunder Palace, but 6 small palaces surround it, forming a strange formation. To enter the 10,000th Thunder Palace, you need to break through the 6 small palaces, and get the 10,000th Thunder Deo Talisman, before you can enter. There are also strong people who want to force their way into the 10,000th Thunder Palace, but they are eventually entangled by thunder, and turned into ashes. Through the spring and autumn boat, Sudan silently watched the thunders in the outside world. The closer to the 10,000th Thunder Palace, the darker the color of the thunder. The outside world is still bright purple, and the central area is completely dark purple, and black. Each thunder is as thick as a stone mill, and it whips the void fiercely. This piece of void is completely distorted, and many black cracks appear and disappear in it. You can imagine how terrifying the power of the thunder is. The most important thing is that these thunders are strong enough to have a certain level of absorption. Once they get close, they can forcefully absorb the divine body of the strong. Under the violent thunder, it is difficult to escape. Of course, even if you break into 6 small halls, your life is still in danger, and you may die if you are not careful, but danger and opportunity coexist. In the 10,000th Thunder Hall, you can get opportunities that the outside world can't get, which attracts many strong people to come and make a living. Sudan also understands, but if he is afraid of danger, he will not come. The Master Realm dare not forcefully break into the 10,000th Thunder Hall. You need to get the 10,000th Thunder Deo Talisman to enter. However, the 10,000 Thunder Hall area attracts less master realms, and the most people are still the level of the 10 palaces Shuriken. Sudang watched silently. In the clouds, there are palaces and Taoist mansions floating, and sometimes you can see Taoist figures in them. Some strong people are drinking and discussing Taoism, while others are quietly practicing in the clouds. This special area is also a treasure land for cultivation. Someone is coming. No one has been here for a long time. Are you going to break into the 10,000 Thunder Palace? Flying divine objects are good. Many eyes looked over. Sudang also glanced. Many figures appeared in Sudang's field of vision. He immediately found that there were many powerful people from the Void Palace, Huangquan Daofu and the Eternal Buddha realm among those hermits. There were even 2 figures with thunder and blood rising around them, vaguely as if they came from the galaxy void between the 2 worlds. The 10,000 Thunder Palace is closer to the inner area than Shianayu Lake. There are many more treasures here than Shianayu Lake. The powerful people from big forces gather here. Sudang thought to himself. Like many big forces, they just make a base here. Many powerful people come here to rest when they are tired of breaking through. If they are in trouble, they will ask for help, and their companions will support them faster. This is the difference between having a big force as a background and not having a big force as a background. Whoosh, the spring and autumn boat flew close to a small palace, and Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body appeared in the outside world. Fellow Daoist, please stay. I have a 10,000 thunder talisman here. I think you have a connection with me, so I'll sell it to you at a lower price. A flash of lightning appeared. Instantly, 100 feet away from Sudang appeared. A short figure appeared. The short figure wore a jade crown, had an ugly face, and flashes of lightning flashed around him. What a fast speed, pure speed, faster than Fihang Shuriken. Sudang looked at it calmly, but was quite surprised in his heart. Exchange for the 10,000 Thunder Talisman? 12 top artifacts, or some strange magic weapons, or an epic artifact. How about exchanging for a 10,000 Thunder Talisman? The short figure asked. Humph, do you think I'm stupid? The 10,000 Thunder Talisman will only be granted after passing through the outer palace. The grant is to recognize the master and cannot be transferred. Do you still want to deceive me? Sudang snorted coldly. Swish, the divine fire wings appeared behind him, and he took a step forward, and the flames flashed. Instantly, he flew into a small palace. The Taoist with the jade crown was stunned. Haha, Taoist Mingayu, you must have been humiliated. That divine fire creature didn't fall for it. Many voices came. His face suddenly became ugly. A divine fire innate creature. I thought he didn't belong to a big force, and the information was not comprehensive. How could he be deceived? It seems that he has some background. The information and intelligence of the Asking Dao Palace are confidential in Huangquan Daofu, and the general circle of strong people are not qualified to understand it. It is precisely because of this that many holy spirits who come to explore for the first time can be deceived. But Sudang is obviously not that kind of sucker. Little guy, you run fast. The short and ugly strong man looked at Sudang, who turned into flames and drilled into a small palace and shook his head unwillingly. Do you think it's easy to get the 10,000 Thunder Dao Talisman? Let me see how you die. Whoosh. Sudang rushed to the front of the small palace. There were 6 small palaces, but only one was open. The more people went there, the more this small palace was open. Obviously, not many people went there recently. The Asking Dao Palace has been in the world for a long time. If you get the 10,000 Thunder Dao Talisman, you can use it for life, so naturally there are few people going there. Sudang flew into the palace. There were already dozens of figures in the palace. Another one. This book was recently updated on #@. Update. It's an innate creature. Wait. The unified test will be held every 6 months. We need to wait another month. An innate creature with lightning eyes spoke. Sudang glanced at him, nodded slightly, and then walked aside to rest. There are batches for entering this small palace. It is once every 6 months. No matter how many people there are, it is the same. It is useless to come in at other times. Some holy spirits glanced at Sudang, while others did not even look at him and practiced cross-legged. The innate holy spirit who reminded Sudang looked at Sudang and frowned slightly. So arrogant. I'm also an innate creature. I'm willing to make friends with him because he is an innate creature. He is so arrogant. Just nodding. He did not even come to talk. This made the Thunder Holy Spirit unhappy. Sudong sat cross-legged, the Holy Spirit law permeated dozens of feet around him, and there were faint dark purple flames blooming in clusters. He practiced silently. As the realm broke through the Deoxuan realm, the 9 nether fire lotuses' understanding of the great Deo of divine fire also increased rapidly. Almost every moment, Sudong could clearly feel the progress of his own Taoism. Clusters of flames formed around him. The other holy spirits in the hall practiced, and there were also strange phenomena, such as water flow, or thunder, or flickering divine light. At their level of strength, unless the strength is absolutely overwhelming, it is difficult to succeed even with a sneak attack. Who doesn't have some means to save their lives? Boom boom boom. In Sudong's 9 nether fire lotus body, the origin of the 9 nether divine fire gradually transformed. With the improvement of the great Deo of divine fire, the 9 nether divine fire also underwent a qualitative change, gradually turning from dark purple to nearly black. The black flame flowed in the body. At this level, the 9 nether divine fire is already extremely powerful and close to perfection. Even ordinary artifacts can be easily burned and melted. It has also reached the same standard as the Firefox Shuriken. Although the Firefox Shuriken is good at controlling fire, his training is complicated, and his power is reduced a lot. Sudong has mastered the origin of the 9 nether god fire, so his innate starting point is high. With the extraordinary opportunity, his power naturally increases quickly. With the bonus of the star power, he has surpassed the Firefox Shuriken. In a blink of an eye, a month has passed. On this day, Sudong still practiced cross-legged, but the flames around him dissipated and retreated, and there was silence all around him. Suddenly, boom. A strong wind suddenly blew in the wide hall, and many strong men stood up with serious faces. Some were quite awed and looked at the dome. Sudong also opened his eyes. The third update will be later. Chapter 787 Triple Thunder Tribulation. The palace, which was bright just now, was now in a dark place. Thick dark clouds appeared on the dome. The dark clouds were not black, but dark red. But the door of the palace, which was originally wide open, suddenly closed. The faces of the many strong men in the palace were grim. Sudong stared at the sky. The dark clouds across the sky did make him feel depressed, but the core data space will easily swept away this sense of depression. This is a test, Thunder Tribulation. Sudong's face was calm. Huangquan Daofu had already recorded a lot of information about the 10,000 Thunder Palace. To get the 10,000 Thunder Dao Talisman, you must go through the Thunder Tribulation test, which is generally divided into 3 levels. The first level is dark red, and the Thunder Tribulation power is equivalent to the 9th level power. The second level is gold, and the Thunder Tribulation power reaches the 10th level. The third level is black, and the Thunder Tribulation power is the strongest, reaching the limit of the 10th level. This Thunder Tribulation test tests the divine body. Of course, you don't have to bear it hard. When the Thunder Tribulation comes, you can also avoid it. But you can't hide in the magic weapon of the Cave Heaven Palace. If you do, you will be directly moved to the outside world by the void, exposed in the thunder area in the center of the 10,000 Thunder Palace, and strangled to ashes. Here we are. The palace door is closed. Now you can't leave. There are a total of 63 holy spirits in the palace. I don't know how many will be left after the Thunder Tribulation. A strong man looked around. Sudong watched silently. I saw a huge vortex swelling in the center of the dark red cloud. The vortex was in the shape of a ladder, and the entire dark red cloud was full of dark red electric snakes. The electric snakes kept entwining and converging, and finally, the first wave of thunder fell. Swish, no more, no less. A total of 63 dark red thunders were like winding thunder snakes, suddenly falling from the sky, directly hitting the top of each holy spirit. Divine fire wings. A pair of black flame wings appeared behind Sudong, and when the wings flapped, 3 of his figures appeared directly. 3 figures were blurred. Puff. The dark red electric snake passed through Sudong's figure, but then the figure slowly dissipated. It was just an illusion, and in another direction, the 2 figures of Sudong merged into one, turning into a calm real body. Looking to the side, under the first wave of dark red thunder tribulation, Most of the strong relied on their divine bodies to withstand it, and a few relied on their body skills. The more amazing one was a burly figure with a dragon head, who opened his mouth directly to the thunder, and swallowed the dark red lightning in one gulp, scaring many strong men. The power of the first wave of thunder was only the top level of level 9, but among the 63 holy spirits, 2 holy spirits were directly turned into ashes. You dare to come to the 10,000 Thunder Palace with this strength? Ridiculous. Everyone sneered. Swish. One of the holy spirits was quick-witted and collected many treasures left by the 2 unlucky guys in an instant. Swish. The dark clouds on the dome kept rolling, and in the blink of an eye, the color changed from dark red to dark gold. Then it kept getting brighter, and completely turned into a dazzling golden yellow. The golden electric snake twisted and coiled, meandering and wandering. The cloud layer not only changed color, but also brought with it a huge pressure, which spread and crushed down the hall. The entire hall space was like a layer of steel plate, sizzling under the pressure. Sudan narrowed his eyes slightly. The thunder of level 10 power, he could still withstand it, but this kind of thunder not only has power, but also has strange magical effects. It was strange that it directly killed 2 holy spirits. The intelligence of Huanquandeofu records that the Thunder Tribulation test of the 10,000th Thunder Hall, although it is generally recognized that there are 3 levels of Thunder Tribulation power, namely level 9, level 10, and level 10 top, but some people speculate that each wave will hide extremely powerful thunder. This is not an unfounded guess, but the Daofu records that there was once a 19-crown Shura king who was very good at the divine body. He confidently broke into the 10,000th Thunder Hall, but was killed by the first wave of thunder, which scared many people. The 2 holy spirits must have died unjustly. It is reasonable to say that holy spirits are difficult to kill, but it is too strange to die without any resistance. This thunder tribulation, hide if you can. Boom. A huge thunder roared. When the sound sounded, golden lightning as thick as a bucket was already like a golden dragon winding and tearing through the sky. The speed of light is faster than the propagation of sound, and this golden lightning is dozens of times faster. One of them, with an unstoppable momentum, twisted and rushed towards Sudang's head in an instant. That kind of power, plus the dazzling golden light, it was like a divine thunder that warded off evil and demons, and its power was terrifying. Lotus transformation. 3,000 lotus leaves. The black flames flickered, and Sudang's body protection method and body skills were used at the same time. This time, dozens of phantoms appeared around him, and each phantom was like a lotus blooming, scattering in all directions. As long as one phantom escaped, it would be a success. Puff! The golden lightning tore through the sky, directly destroying nearly half of Sudang's phantoms, and at the same time, the power penetrated. The terrifying power penetrated the black fire lotus body protection phantom. A golden arc penetrated into it, and this arc alone instantly tore a gap in Sudang's divine body, almost piercing it. The black flames quickly wrapped around it, and only then did they wipe out the arc. Wow. The black flame lotus rotated on Sudang's body. This is so strong. Sudang was secretly shocked. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. Level 10 power. This power is much stronger than level 10. If his body skills are not as good as mine, and he is a little careless, he will die instantly if he takes all the golden thunder. Looking at the side, 11 holy spirits fell directly under the golden thunder tribulation, and the living holy spirits put away their treasures. 11 more dead, looking for death. Some strong men sneered. Among them was the dragon-headed holy spirit who swallowed the golden thunder tribulation again. If his golden thunder tribulation is as strong as mine, and he swallows it in one gulp, how strong will his divine body be? Sudang frowned. Little guy, what are you looking at? The dragon-headed figure turned around and grinned. Sudang looked away. HMPH. Little bug. The dragon-headed holy spirit snorted arrogantly. The many holy spirits beside him were silent. They had just witnessed that the divine body of the dragon-headed holy spirit was too terrifying. Thunder rumbled, and the golden clouds on the dome changed again. This time, the golden electric snake rolled more crazily, and gradually faded its golden light, and turned into a deep and terrifying black. With this transformation, the momentum gradually increased. The remaining 50 holy spirits below all had serious faces. Obviously, the thunder tribulation was coming to an end, and the test was also coming to an end. Finally, 50 dark electric lights appeared instantly like dark dragons. Unlike the previous 2 waves, this time it was silent. No sound was heard, and it fell directly. Heavenly Net Wangxiang. Sudong's 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body suddenly penetrated time, and the speed was extremely fast, just brushing against the black thunder. The black lightning touched the black Fire Lotus phantom on Sudong's body, but this time it was easily blocked. So weak? Sudong frowned. This lightning seemed not as strong as the previous golden lightning. Roar. A roar suddenly sounded. Sudong turned his head and saw the black lightning falling. The dragon-headed Holy Spirit also opened its mouth to swallow, but this time it was terrified and then stood still. It's dead. The face of the Holy Spirit next to it who was holding up the black lightning changed slightly. The soul is wiped out. Sudong could not feel the fluctuation of the dragon-headed Holy Spirit. Chapter 788. Who do you think you are? The last black divine thunder contained a soul attack. Sudong had learned about it from the intelligence of the Dao Mansion. It was a secret, but not a top secret. Anyone who dared to enter the 10,000th Thunder Palace had a very high level of soul. Even if they didn't, they had a life-saving magic weapon to withstand it. But this dragon-headed Holy Spirit died directly. This dragon-headed Holy Spirit has such a strong divine body. He dared to swallow 2 thunder tribulations. Obviously, he was extremely confident. His divine body was strong. His soul should not be weak either. After all, he is a top Holy Spirit. It is impossible for his shortcomings to be so obvious. When he was weak, there were many innate creatures with weak souls and strong divine bodies. But at this level, he was still so weak. This is impossible. Cultivation is to constantly make up for defects and improve strengths. Knowing that his soul is weak, he didn't care. He could hardly live that long. It may be that his soul is weak, or it may be that there is something strange about that black divine thunder. The power of the soul contained in it is beyond imagination, and it caught him off guard. Sudong said secretly. Just like the second golden divine thunder he experienced, the power was so powerful that it was beyond imagination. He just sneered at others, but he couldn't withstand the last thunder tribulation. He's dead. There must be many treasures on his body. The divine body is so strong. The corpse is also a treasure. The 3 holy spirits next to him moved at the same time and immediately took action, trying to seize the dragon-headed Holy Spirit's corpse and many treasures. But a black flame flashed in front of them, directly enveloping the dragon-headed Holy Spirit's corpse. No, boy, do you dare? The 3 holy spirits roared. They also saw that when they resisted the divine thunder before, Sudong was injured after only the second divine thunder. Although he was good at moving his body, his divine body should be average, and his strength was average. You are too slow. Sudong chuckled, waved his hand, and the black flame rolled over the dragon-headed Holy Spirit's corpse, and instantly received it in the core data space. At this time, the fastest Holy Spirit rushed over with the gun. Puff. Sudong's figure flashed, and the Xian Luo Wangxiang body technique was displayed, crossing the speed of time and space, to easily avoid the gun. So fast. The Holy Spirit was shocked. The remaining many Holy Spirits also looked over. After the 3 thunder tribulations, there were only 39 Holy Spirits left in the hall. Of the 63 Holy Spirits that came in, nearly half of them died. It can be said that the probability of death is extremely high. This is also the reason why many people still stay away from the many secret places in the Taoist Palace, where there are many treasures and opportunities. It is too dangerous. No one dares to venture in without full confidence. Now these more than 30 Holy Spirits saw Sudong easily dodge the 3 Holy Spirits with a flash, and they also looked up to him. Those who can achieve success in body skills will have an advantage in battle. It is reasonable to take the treasure. The body skills are extremely high. He is an innate divine fire life, a divine fire life, and the burst speed is also fast. Several Holy Spirits smiled and stopped fighting. After going through the 3 thunder tribulations, they were all in a good mood. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this time, several streams of light suddenly descended from the dome. The streams of light had no power at all and only emitted a soft light and fell. Sudang stretched out his hand, and a purple token with a thunder pattern on the front fell into his hand. As soon as it fell, he naturally recognized the master with divine power. 10,000 Thunder Talisman. Sudang smiled. Legend has it that the 10,000 Thunder Hall is extremely vast and full of formations. Without the 10,000 Thunder Talisman, it is impossible to enter, let alone find treasures. Once you enter the 10,000 Thunder Hall, it will be easy to find the 9 Tribulations Divine Thunder. Sudang said secretly. Boy, do you know who I am? Suddenly a rumbling voice sounded. Sudang looked up. A tall and thin figure was standing in the center of the hall. The tall and thin figure stood among the many holy spirits. Sudang didn't notice it until he spoke. At this moment, he was staring at Sudang with a pair of dark golden eyes. Seeing that pair of eyes, Sudang felt something in his heart and had a sense of deja vu. Who are you? Sudang asked. I'm the Lord of Withered Dragons. The tall and thin figure said, you dare to take my dragon family's treasure in front of me, return the dragon family's corpse you took. His voice boomed, carrying a domineering power. Is it him? Sudang's heart skipped a beat. He knew why he felt familiar. This Lord of Withered Dragons came from the Void Divine Court. They were both dragons. In terms of seniority, he was the ancestor of the 5 dragons divines. In terms of strength, he was not much different from the Shura King of the Yama Palace. He didn't recognize him before. Many holy spirits in the hall also changed their expression slightly, and many of them slightly distanced themselves from the Lord of Withered Dragons. This lord was born in the dragon family, and with the support of the Void Divine Court behind him, he has always acted in a domineering manner. Of course, his methods are also cruel enough, and he is famous for killing. This holy spirit of divine fire actually ran into the Lord of Withered Dragons. How unlucky. It's going to be exciting. Many holy spirits watched. Sudang also watched, asking for the dragon family's corpse. This book has been updated recently in #@. Update. No problem. Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body smiled lightly on its evil face. But then his figure flashed. The black divine fire wings behind him flapped, and with the Cheyenne Luo Wang Xiang body skills, he rushed deep into the hall in the blink of an eye. With the 10,000 Thunder Talisman, he could naturally break into the 10,000 Thunder Hall. As for the Withered Dragon God, you said you would give it to me. Who do you think you are? Today, Sudang doesn't care about the Withered Dragon God at all. Compare background. He is still the Shura King of Huan Kundeofu. In terms of divine power, the star divine power can also be compared. His body skills are even more unique. What is there to be afraid of? How dare you? The Withered Dragon God snorted coldly. It had already prepared to kill Sudang, a divine fire holy spirit with no background and average strength. Whoosh! An invisible soul attack containing the domineering holy spirit law rushed directly into Sudang's body. The soul attack can only be resisted, ignoring the body skills, ignoring all physical defenses. Lord Killing has practiced for a long time, and his combat level is too high. Seeing that Sudang is good at body skills, and is a holy spirit of the divine fire, he must have many magical powers. It is better to attack directly with the soul. The soul attack rushed in. In the soul sea of Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body, only a blood-colored ferocious dragon shadow rushed in, like a glowing sun, violently colliding with his soul. Dragon Elephant Kun Divine Bell. Sudang hurriedly activated the soul protection application on his mobile phone. The 3 phantoms of the dragon, elephant and Kun appeared with a divine bell. Ding. The divine bell shook violently, and it collapsed directly. Then it hit Sudang's soul. Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body and soul can only be considered above average. But at the critical moment, the core data space will descended, the will took shape, and the control over the soul and body was stronger. The soul attack was to shake the soul, but with the reinforcement of Sudang's will, the soul was naturally very solid. Is the protection of the dragon elephant Kun divine bell so weak? Sudang shook his head and directly uninstalled the soul application. As his strength increased, the previous application was indeed not up to standard. But Sudang was confident that he could withstand the attack of the withered dragon soul with his strength and will. He had undergone several soul transformations, and the level of his soul had also increased greatly. Buzz. The ferocious dragon-shaped phantom hit Sudong's soul fiercely. Sudong's soul turned into the origin of the nine nether god fire, a constantly rotating strange black fire lotus. The fire lotus only trembled slightly, and then it withstood. Huh. Your face didn't change. The expression of the withered dragon lord was the same as that of the three-eyed true lord. Sudong should not be too casual to withstand a soul attack. Dragon god claw. Boom. The withered dragon lord waved his hand, and a dragon claw instantly appeared in front of him. The dragon claw whistled, causing the space in the hall to collapse and shatter. The power turned into a phantom of a dragon, and the phantom of the dragon bared its fangs and claws and rushed straight to Sudong. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 789, Fighting the Withered Dragon Lord. Divine Fire 10,000 Tribulations Finger. Sudong also turned back and pointed out, and the black flame formed a hazy finger shadow, like the giant finger of a demon god. Then the pitch black giant finger suddenly burst out, and its power shook the world, revealing a terrifying aura that made people's scalps numb. Obviously, with the breakthrough of Sudong's realm, the innate magical power of the nine nether fire lotus divine body has also rapidly improved. In addition, at this moment, Sudong has stimulated the star power to 90%, almost reaching the limit of his own divine power. The power is not inferior to the real perfect realm of the Great Holy Spirit. The giant finger burning with black flames collided with the phantom of the dragon. Bang! At the moment of collision, the fierce power fluctuation suddenly spread out in a fan shape like ripples, and the entire space in the hall turned into a dark place, especially the center, as if it had suffered a devastating blow. All collapsed, and turned into particles and drifted away. Fortunately, those who dared to enter the hall were all powerful saints, and they could easily withstand the aftermath of such power. However, they also looked at the two figures in the battle, and were slightly surprised. Sudong, who was good at body skills, was actually considered to be a master of Taoism. The withered dragon lord thought that he could easily defeat Sudong, but in the collision of Taoism and magic, he felt that he only had a slight advantage. He roared and shot out. Boom. The moment he shot out, the body of the withered dragon lord suddenly turned into a dragon, with layers of dragon scales covering his body surface, and a dragon tail like steel extended from his back, swung directly at Sudong. A bug dares to show off in front of me? The withered dragon lord roared. He was used to being domineering, and could not tolerate the slightest disobedience. Wow. The divine fire wings behind Sudong flapped, and he quickly used his body skills to dodge. His body skills were indeed very high, and phantoms appeared in the space, flashing continuously. Ultimate mode, Nether Moon. At the same time, the dark purple Nether Moon divine sword appeared in Sudong's hand. With a swing of the long sword, a hazy sword shadow bloomed, and instantly slashed at the dragon's tail. Although he did not perform the heavenly sword technique, Sudong's sword technique was at that level. Once he reached that level, any style he performed would reach the essence directly, and his power was extraordinary. HMPH. The dragon tail of the withered dragon lord swung horizontally, like a black line, that passed through the space, causing a large number of space fragments around to be directly shattered into pieces. The dragon tail collided with the sword light. The sword light only resisted for a moment, and then it collapsed in an instant. Then it did not stop at all, swung horizontally, and brushed Sudong's divine body. What a strong power. Sudong was slightly surprised, but then he was relieved. Who was the withered dragon lord in front of him? He was a top hole master with a great reputation in the Void Divine Court. In terms of seniority, he was even higher than the Azura King of the Yama Hall. Although his strength was not as good as the Azura King of the Yama Hall, he was still several heads higher than him. Although he dared to fight with the star power, it was a joke to win, as the gap in strength was too obvious. This withered dragon god has average Taoism, and the most terrifying thing is his true dragon body. The divine body has been polished to his level. It is already the most terrifying weapon. I have stimulated 90% of the star power, but I can only barely withstand it. A knife with the ultimate mode. Even his tail can't be shaken. The opponent was completely rampaging and crushing. Sudong could only rely on his body skills to dodge and move. "I can't fight. I'll leave," Sudong said secretly. Whoosh. Sudong's 9 nether fire lotus figure suddenly burst out with extreme body skills, and the divine fire wings flapped. His figure was all over the sky. The 3000 lotus leaves body skills were performed, and he turned directly into a stream of flames and disappeared in the hall. Many holy spirits in the hall watched this battle. They were just watching the excitement. Many were happy to see Sudong being slaughtered by the withered dragon god. But the fact is, the withered dragon god's several attacks were blocked by Sudong, and the fierce dragon tail whipped over. Sudong also used his body skills to dodge, and the withered dragon lord couldn't touch the corner of Sudong's clothes at all. TSK, what a fast speed. Although the withered dragon lord is powerful, he can't touch the opponent. It's impossible to avoid him every time. Many holy spirits watched, and suddenly, Sudong turned into a black flame and rushed into the depths of the hall in an instant. "Old dragon, I won't play with you anymore." Sudong deliberately laughed loudly before leaving. His 9 nether fire lotus divine body's personality performance is arrogant and arrogant. He knows that he can't beat him, but he still dares to fight. Even if he can't win, he still wants to piss off this old dragon. "Damn little bug, don't let me touch you. I will kill you if I touch you," the withered dragon lord roared. Sudong's body skills were indeed fast, and the withered dragon lord knew in his heart that he was indeed inferior in speed. Sudong wanted to leave, and he couldn't stop him. In just a moment, Sudong disappeared in the hall, passed through a passage, and rushed into the semicircular 10,000 thunder hall. "Damn bug." The withered dragon god was so angry that his teeth itched. It had been a long time since a holy spirit dared to be so arrogant in front of him. In the eyes of other holy spirits, although Sudong had no power to fight back, he could leave as soon as he said so, and he could fight for a few moves, which was already extraordinary. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. This holy fire holy spirit is interesting. I don't know which force cultivated this strong man. My Deo mansion should also make friends with him. The 19 crown Shura king of the Yellow Spring Deo mansion said silently. It's time to enter the 10,000 thunder palace. Whether my thunder method will succeed or not depends on this time. After the excitement, many strong men also quickly rushed into the palace. Sudong rushed into the main hall of the 10,000 thunder palace. Although he rushed in head first, but he was extremely cautious in his heart. Since entering the Deo palace, Sudong has never been careless. If he is a little careless, he may die. Since entering the Deo palace, how many battles has he experienced? Many strong men, they said to fight, and they didn't hesitate. It's okay for the strong to fight, but the real danger is this 10,000 thunder hall. The 10,000 thunder hall is a void. Although it has been explored by countless strong men, it still contains many dangers. Don't get the 9 tribulations divine thunder and make yourself embarrassed. As for the withered dragon god, Sudong looked behind him. Behind him was the main door of the hall. He couldn't help but smile. This time he offended the old dragon. With his character, he must be vindictive and want to tear him into pieces. However, as long as you enter the 10,000 thunder hall, the void is vast, and the chance of encountering it again is very low, so you don't have to care at all. The 10,000 thunder hall looks very ordinary at first glance, but there is only a purple lightning column that reaches the sky and runs through the entire palace. It looks powerful and terrifying. But the 10,000 thunder talisman in Sudong's palm suddenly trembled slightly, and then a ray of purple thunder surged out of the thunder talisman. It directly wrapped around Sudong's palm, and then quickly spread, forming a thunder shield. No wonder I can't enter the 10,000 thunder hall without this 10,000 thunder talisman. Sudong thought to himself, with a thunder shield around him, and walked towards the thunder pillar. As Sudong approached, a dark crack slowly emerged on the thunder pillar. The crack was extremely dark and deep, giving people a sense of mystery that it was connected to another void. Whoosh! Sudong directly entered the crack. After a moment, many holy spirits rushed in, and also activated the thunder shield, and entered the thunder pillar. Chapter 790 Thunder Mountains. On the boundless land, there was silence, and the peaks with ancient breath rose, and fell one after another. This was an extremely vast world, and the breath of loneliness was exuded for a long time. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the calm space on the surface of the earth. A black flame flashed in the crack, and it instantly swept out, and fell to the ground, and then condensed into a figure. The figure had a handsome and evil face. It was Sudong. Sudong looked around. Puff. Suddenly, a purple thunder as thick as a bucket suddenly struck not far from where he was standing. Even if the hardness of the ground of this land was not as good as that of a divine weapon, it was not far behind. However, thunder struck down, but it directly split a terrible crack, which showed how terrible the power contained was. Sudong's eyes narrowed slightly, and he looked up, but he saw that the sky above the vast land was a thunderstorm motion formed entirely by purple and blue thunder. The drifting lightning arcs would fall from time to time, giving the creatures on the ground a fierce blow. Thunder Sea. Looking at the endless, rolling sea of thunder, Sudong couldn't help but be shocked. A single ray of thunder power was enough to threaten him. When it gathered together like this, it was conceivable how terrifying the power would be in the center of the Thunder Sea. This 10,000 Thunder Palace is just a secret place in the area of the Asking Deo Palace, and it has such a scene. What would the real core area look like? And the powerful person who can build such a secret place, the level of magical power is really unimaginable. In the 10,000 Thunder Palace, there are 3 kinds of dangers to be careful of. The first is thunder. Don't fly high in the sky, otherwise you will be struck by lightning easily. The power of thunder depends on the area. The power of thunder in the core area is so great that even a perfect divine body can't withstand it. The second danger is other holy spirits. Once the treasure appears, it will attract competition, and there are 163 exits in the 10,000 Thunder Palace, but they are all scattered around the edge, so it's hard to escape. Sudong didn't know where he was at the moment, but if he wanted to go out, he would usually fly to the edge and always encounter an exit. Coming in was a random teleportation. This is all common sense. Of course, because the exit is fixed. If you are besieged here, the outcome will be bad. The third danger is the Thunder Beast. Sudong's eyes flashed. My luck is not bad. I haven't encountered a Thunder Beast attack. He couldn't help but laugh. But before the laughter fell, Sudong suddenly felt his scalp numb. A kind of evil spirit that made his heart palpitate appeared behind him in an instant. Before he could think, the divine fire wings behind Sudong emerged, and then his body became blurred. Puff. The blurred body was torn apart by a sharp claw. 100 meters away, black flames flickered, and Sudong's divine body was condensed again, and then he looked forward with a solemn look. At a glance, he saw that on the ground, where he was originally standing, there was a terrifying bird of prey that was 3 meters high. The bird of prey was emitting thunder and lightning all over its body, and arcs were jumping on its iron-like feathers. A pair of sharp eagle-like eyes stared at Sudong. Then it suddenly turned into a flash of lightning, but it did not rush over, but directly sank into the sky and disappeared, as if the first sneak attack failed, making it feel that the prey in front of it was not easy to mess with, so it chose to retreat. The Thunder Beast that can be easily killed by the Holy Spirit is the most terrifying danger in the 10,000 Thunder Palace. Sudong watched this scene. According to the intelligence records of Huanquandeofu, when the 10,000 Thunder Palace was first explored, the number of Thunder Beasts was even more terrifying, and their strength was also ridiculous. Even the strong masters of the domination realm were injured. Thunder Beasts are all over the 10,000 Thunder Palace, and they are all extremely fierce thunder creatures. Over the long years, their fighting methods have become more and more powerful: sneak attacks, hunting, and the Holy Spirit will accidentally become the nourishment of these thunder beasts. Of course, there are also strong men who practice thunder magic who come here specifically to hunt thunder beasts or capture thunder beasts and tame them. It's just that Sudong is not good at these two. He doesn't practice thunder magic, so naturally he has no interest in thunder beasts. Inside the 10,000 Thunder Hall, the thunder spirit power is overflowing, and the thunder method is much clearer. It is a treasure land for practicing thunder magic and Taoist methods. My goal is the 9 Tribulations Divine Thunder, so there is no need to waste more time here. Sudong looked around. Then he flipped his palm, and a scroll emerged. On the scroll was a strange thunder pattern, surrounded by circles of unique markings. Those markings It symbolizes the terrain around the location of the 9 tribulations divine thunder. As long as you appear in these terrains, you can know where the fragments of the 9 realms divine thunder Dao Yan are. I am. It should be this Leia mountain mansion. Sudong looked up, his eyes flashed, and after knowing his position, he turned to look to the east. Using his location as the coordinate, heading east, he can find the 9 tribulations divine thunder when he reaches the center of the scroll. That should be the core area. The core area has many treasures and many dangers. Sudong shook his head, with a slight premonition that it might be difficult for him to take the 9 tribulations divine thunder this time. The Dao Palace records that there are many powerful magical skills in the 10,000 Thunder Palace, but finding them requires luck, fortune, and strength. All 3 are indispensable. And for these, most of the strong people who enter the 10,000 Thunder Palace will go to the core area. The strong people are mixed, and the danger is doubled. Let's go. After collecting the scroll, Sudong suddenly turned into a black flame and quickly flew towards the east. And the moment he left, a flash of lightning flashed. It just hit the place where he was before, and the flashing lightning exuded a violent aura that made people's scalps numb. Although Sudong's goal is the fragments of the 9 tribulations divine thunder Dao Yan, since he came to the 10,000 Thunder Palace, he naturally has a thought in his mind. If he encounters any opportunity, he will certainly not let it go. Along the way, the 10,000 Thunder Palace is vast and empty, and coupled with the suppression of the rules, it is impossible to sacrifice the spring and autumn boat. In such a secret place, once the cave heaven magic weapon appears, it will instantly usher in a critique of 10,000 thunders. So he can only fly obediently, or fly at a low altitude. This book was recently updated on #@. Update. After flying tens of thousands of kilometers, Sudong also encountered several figures, but they all ignored each other and were on their own way to find their own treasures. There was no dispute over interests and treasures. There were still few conflicts between powerful holy spirits. That's the 80 Thunder Mountains? Legend has it that the 80 Thunder Mountains contain 80 kinds of thunder magic and magical powers, as well as 80 kinds of strange treasures. According to records, although most of these magic and treasures have been obtained over the long years, there are still a few in them. When flying to a vast and continuous mountain range, Sudong's figure paused, and his eyes immediately looked over. There were 80 peaks standing in the mountains ahead, and the scene was majestic and magnificent. In the 80 Thunder Mountains, getting treasures depends entirely on chance and luck. There will be some tests when getting them, but the degree of danger is not high. Since you are passing by, go and try your luck. Sudong smiled and then flew directly over. On the 80 Thunder Mountains, there were already figures wandering around. Seeing Sudong flying over, some of them paid attention, while others were looking for something on their own. Among them was a female holy spirit, who was extremely charming, but she flew up directly with a smile. She flew 100 feet behind Sudong. Sudong frowned. He looked back at the charming female holy spirit, who had a charming face. When she walked 1 foot, the holy spirit behind her followed her. Dao, be careful, that yellow bird is born to steal people's treasures. You must not fall into her trap. The holy spirit on a distant mountain peak laughed. Chapter 791 Dragon King Divine Armor. You're so talkative. The charming holy spirit glanced at the holy spirit in the distance. The holy spirit grinned, and it seemed that they were quite familiar with each other. Sudong looked at the charming holy spirit. The oriole became a saint. There is an old saying that the mantis stalks the cicada, and the oriole is behind. This woman who became a holy spirit from the oriole wanted to see if there was any benefit from following him. Sudong couldn't help but smile. If you want to follow, follow me. Whether you can have an opportunity depends on luck, and whether you can keep the opportunity depends on your strength. Whoosh, he fell directly towards the first of the 80 Thunder Mountains. Each Thunder Mountain is as big as the outside world, and even the steepness is higher than the many peaks of Buzha Mountain. It is not realistic to fly over the Thunder Mountain, because the sky is a sea of thunder, and you can only fly in the mountains. Sudong flew through the forest, and the yellow bird holy spirit behind him kept the distance at about 100 feet. At this distance, she can not only grab the treasure at the first time, but also respond to Sudong's attack at any time. You are so confident, and you don't scold me. Are you confident in your strength, or do you think you can't find any opportunities and treasures? Huangquan Holy Spirit thought to himself. The two of them flew one after the other, and it took them most of the day to fly over the first Thunder Mountain, and naturally they got nothing. Then Sudong flew through the forest to the second Thunder Mountain. Huang followed slowly without any hurry. 80 Thunder Mountains are so wide, it will take dozens of days to fly over them slowly. Don't worry, I'll see what treasures the dragon corpse has first. Sudong said secretly, separating a wisp of his mind and entering the core data space. In front of the chaotic airflow in the majestic space, 8 stars were moving along special trajectories, constantly generating star power. In the chaotic data space, Sudong's Tuosh divine body sat cross-legged, and in front of him was a huge dragon corpse crawling. The dragon corpse was intact, but the soul was completely destroyed, and the corpse still exuded a monstrous and murderous aura. The dragon clan was born strong, and each of them acted very domineeringly. They knew how to kill, since they were born, and the fierce and murderous aura was integrated into their bones. Such a perfect Holy Spirit level dragon corpse is worth as much as an era void. Sudong's Tuosh divine body smiled. The era void can breed countless lives, and has countless opportunities. Every major force will fight for it, but for the real strong, its value is equivalent to this real dragon corpse. Let's see what treasures it has. Sudong's will directly penetrated the dragon corpse, and his majestic will easily discovered a huge space contained in the scales of the dragon corpse. There are pavilions and towers, and even a long palace, as well as beauties of various races and fine wine and food. I know how to enjoy it. Sudong smiled. This cave magic weapon is also a treasure. If it falls into the outside world, the will easily penetrates in and releases its power. The many lives in the cave trembled at the moment when the dragon Holy Spirit died. Once the master died, the cave magic weapon was ownerless, and they could be destroyed at any time. So as soon as Sudong's willpower was released, the lives in it crawled on the ground and prayed for mercy. Don't worry, I won't kill you, Sudong said. The sound resounded throughout the cave. The lives in the cave still crawled and dared not move. Sudong's will continued to penetrate. Penetrating into the depths of the palace, it was easy to find a strange secret place. Following the penetration, he immediately saw many spiritual crystal treasures, artifacts and magic weapons scattered everywhere in the secret place. Found it. Sudong's eyes lit up. This cave world can't be compared with the Qingshan world. With a slight movement of his will, many treasures in the entire secret place flew out. Wow. In the core data space, treasures were floating around one by one. Most of them were ordinary artifacts and magic weapons. The quality was average. They were collected by the dragon corpse when it killed other holy spirits before its death. There were also some natural treasures. After Sudong identified and estimated the value, he put them all into the core data space. As for some other methods and classics, he took a quick look and found that there was nothing special and mysterious, so he put them away casually. In the end, there was only one thing left in front of Sudong. This was also the only thing that surprised him. An epic artifact armor, the Dragon King armor. The Dragon King's armor radiates golden light, and its combat boots and gloves are in the shape of dragon claws, with a dragon tail extending from the back. Sudong's Tuosh divine body reaches out, and the Dragon King's armor flies into his hand. The master is dead, and the artifact is ownerless. Sudong drops a drop of divine blood, and immediately recognizes the master easily. The Dragon King's armor is made of the scales of the ancestral dragon. It can increase the power of the divine body by up to 70 times. It can weaken all divine power attacks by 90%. The condition for recognizing the master is that the divine body level must reach the level of comparable top artifacts. There are conditions for recognizing the master, and even weak divine bodies are not qualified to recognize this artifact. What a treasure! Sudong exclaimed. It can not only increase the power of the divine body, it can also enhance defense and absolutely weaken divine power attacks by 80%. It can be said that wearing this Dragon King's armor, you are almost not afraid of all Taoist attacks under the domination realm. With such invincible physical defense, no wonder you dare to swallow the thunder tribulation. But because you are too confident, you die in the end. The last black divine thunder is an attack from the soul, and this divine armor is useless. If you can't withstand it, you will die. This book has been recently updated on #@. Update. Together. Sudong's Tuosh divine body pointed at the Dragon King's divine armor, and immediately a set of divine armor flew towards his divine body. In the blink of an eye, the Dragon King's divine armor covered Sudong's divine body. His face could not be seen under the helmet, as if he was a human-shaped dragon beast. He even exuded the lofty dragon power. Haha, this divine armor is made of the scales of the ancestral dragon, and it naturally contains the dragon's power. I can disguise myself as a dragon by restraining my breath. This tail is an attached offensive artifact, which is much more useful than the claws. Sudong experienced them one by one. Now I know why the withered dragon god was so anxious to ask for the dragon's corpse. The dragon clan has always been united. Two dragons appeared in the 10,000 Thunder Palace at the same time. How could they not recognize each other? Since he knew it, he should know how precious the Dragon King's divine armor is. How could he lose it? Haha, I got a big bargain. Sudong was very happy. Feel the power increase of the divine body. Sudong's heart moved, and he immediately activated the entire Dragon King armor. The Dragon King armor was worn on the divine body. After refining, it was as if it was a part of the divine body. Normally, it could not feel the slightest weight, but once it was activated, it felt like the whole divine body sank. A large amount of divine power began to gather on the surface of Sudong's divine body like a stream of golden energy. Boom. A golden beam of light shot up into the sky, and Sudong's entire divine body suddenly swelled dozens of feet. A punch was thrown. Sudong felt as if his fist had completely turned into an asteroid, and the surging divine power poured out, directly blasting a space ripple in front of his fist. Wow. The core data space was shaken, and a vast chaotic airflow vibrated into waves. Fortunately, the core data space is constantly evolving, similar to the real void, and with Sudong's will taking shape to guard it, it is naturally perfect. So it was easy to take this punch. But Sudong was still surprised. My ordinary punch is 70 times more powerful than before. The punch of the withered dragon god, before was about the same. Sudong was amazed. This increase was terrifying. He nodded with satisfaction. With this dragon god armor, his combat power has been slightly improved again. Divine power and divine body are the foundation, and the realm of Taoism is the amplification. The stronger the foundation, the stronger it will be with the amplification of Taoism. If it is combined with the star power, Sudong's transformed will couldn't help but smile. Chapter 792 9 Heaven's Divine Thunder. With the current star power, he has almost reached the threshold of the 19 Crown Shuriken. At least it is easy to surpass the Firefox Shuriken. However, you cannot use any artifacts to break through the ranking battle. You still rely on your own true strength. When you can crush the Firefox Shuriken with your own strength, you will reach the upper middle level of the 18 Crown Shuriken. Yes, with the Dragon King's armor, my Tush divine body has improved its combat power. At least in this 10,000 Thunder Palace, I can really fight against many powerful people. Sudong said secretly. Previously, he could still pull and deal with many powerful people outside Xianyu Lake. When he came to the 10,000 Thunder Palace, everyone was stronger. He could only rely on his body skills to escape. First, it was because the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body was indeed weak, and second, it was because he had no trump card to show. The only support was the star power. The Tush divine body had always been reluctant to take action, fearing that once his identity was exposed, it would be besieged. This is the Dao Palace, not an ordinary void. In the Dao Palace, even the Domination Realm would be too late to rescue. After all, they can only rely on flying. So Sudong was cautious, and tried not to let Tuoshi divine body take action. But now with the Dragon King divine armor, the dragon's might was everywhere, and under the restrained breath, his Tuoshi divine body also dared to take action. As long as he did not use the Chaos Green Silk divine power and the sword technique to stimulate the star power, the power would be extremely terrifying. Only when Tuoshi divine body could take action, it could be considered to truly show its strength. While flying, a smile suddenly appeared on his face. The yellow bird Holy Spirit, who had been following Sudong from a distance, was suddenly startled. She kept an eye on Sudong's expression and naturally saw the smile on his face at the first time. "Have you found a treasure?" she hurriedly observed. Yes, a treasure was found, but it was not the treasure of the 80 Thunder Mountains, but the treasure that Sudong had snatched from the corpse of the Dragon Clan. And the Thunder Mountain treasure hunt. The 6th Thunder Mountain. I didn't find a treasure opportunity. It seems that my luck is also average. Sudong smiled, but he also understood that the legend of the 80 Thunder Mountains had been circulating in the 10,000th Thunder Palace for a long time. He didn't know how many strong men had come here, and all the treasures and opportunities that could be born had been born. He had a low chance of encountering a treasure, but it stands to reason that the treasure belongs to the virtuous. The opportunity given by this Thunder Mountain to give treasure should also depend on strength and potential. My strength is average, so I can only be considered the bottom, but I have been practicing for a short time, and I have condensed the Dao God Pill. Yes, condensing the Dao God Pill is a representative of potential. The King Feng Divine Lord inheritance obtained by the Sea Saint Liumi can completely guide the condensation of the Dao God Pill. The Dao God Pill represents the foundation and potential. Sudong believed that he had great potential and might have a chance to get some real treasures. Fly slowly, no hurry. Sudong flew from mountain to mountain. In a blink of an eye, 21 days had passed in the 80 Thunder Mountains, and Sudong flew over the 57th Thunder Mountain. Although the yellow bird Holy Spirit in the distance behind him still kept a distance, the distance had been extended to 300 feet, and during this period, there were also strong men who came to the 80 Thunder Mountains to search for treasures. Haha, it seems that my luck is average, and I can't get any treasures. Sudong couldn't help laughing. There are 80 Thunder Mountains, and he still got nothing after flying over nearly 60 of them. Obviously, the possibility of getting treasures in the remaining 20 or so is not high. Brother Dao, don't be sad. It's really not easy to get treasures. The yellow bird Holy Spirit also spoke. He also comforted Sudong. Sudong was too lazy to pay attention to her. He flew slowly. 3 more days passed, and he flew to the 72nd Thunder Mountain. There are only the last 7. There is no hope. The yellow bird Holy Spirit shook his head and quietly retreated. At this moment, there were other Holy Spirits searching for treasures in the Thunder Mountains. Sudong had no hope, but others still had hope. Sudong continued to fly. As he flew like this, a flash of lightning would occasionally fall from the sea of thunder in the sky above, and Sudong flew to the top of the 74th Thunder Mountain. Swish! A flash of lightning quickly struck down, and faintly, a wisp of violent and raging arcs gradually emerged on the top of the mountain. Whoosh! Sudong, who was slowly flying over the top of the mountain, suddenly paused. He suddenly stopped, and then his eyes flashed as he looked at the raging electric arc in front of him. The electric arc entangled and raged on the top of the mountain, and unexpectedly condensed into a huge thunderball, blocking his way. What is this? Sudong frowned. Suddenly, a ray of electric arc burst out violently, shooting towards Sudong like an electric snake. The electric arc was extremely fast and instantly fell on Sudong's 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body. Even though Sudong immediately activated the Lotus Transformation Body Protection method, the Black Fire Lotus surrounded the divine body. He still felt a slight stinging sensation in his divine body. Sudong's eyes lit up. It turned out to be the Yuxio Divine Thunder. Sudong's face changed slightly, and he recognized the Thunder Arc. The so-called Yuxio Divine Thunder is a derivative of a formation created by humans. In terms of power, it is not much different from his current 9 Nether Divine Fire. Of course, this place is in the 10,000th Thunder Palace. With the blessing of the endless sea of thunder, the power of any thunder method is multiplied. If you are not careful, you may lose your life. The Yuxio Divine Thunder appears here. Is there a formation? Sudong's heart moved. Then he did not retreat but advanced, flying towards the thunderball. Although the Yuxio Divine Thunder is terrible, I can withstand it. The sudden appearance of the Yuxio Divine Thunder in this Thunder Mountain is an anomaly. Who knows, a treasure may appear. Sudong thought to himself. This book is recently updated in #@. Update. The holy spirits in the distance also noticed the fluctuations of the thunder and turned their heads to look over. There is an anomaly. A treasure appeared. The calm atmosphere was instantly broken. Is it him? The charming face of the yellow bird holy spirit was full of surprise. No treasure appeared during the journey with the holy spirit. She got the treasure just after turning around. Although the power of this Uxio divine thunder is extraordinary, it is a test. My 9 nether fire lotus divine body should be able to withstand it. Sudong's divine body rushed directly into the range of the thunderball. Lightning flashes struck his divine body. Unexpectedly, the lightning arc that penetrated almost everywhere, like a raging electric snake, instantly tore the lotus shadow on Sudong's body, and a sharp pain came immediately. Sudong's scalp was numb. This Uxio divine thunder, is it so powerful? Sudong didn't dare to show off. If he continued to resist, his 9 nether fire lotus divine body would be easily torn to pieces. Sudong flipped his hands and a dark golden gourd appeared. He didn't dare to resist this divine thunder, so he naturally tried to break it. The dark golden gourd can collect everything. Let's see if it can collect this Uxio divine thunder. Precious gourd, collect it. Sudong sacrificed the precious gourd. Suddenly, a dark golden airflow swept out. Wherever this airflow passed, the raging and violent Uxio divine thunder was immediately entangled and sucked into the gourd mouth. There is a way. Sudong showed a happy expression, and once again cited the magic of this precious gourd. The thunderball was huge, and swallowed for half an hour. Only then did the absorption finish, and Sudong remained calm and composed, easily passing through the Uxio divine thunder. And then when the last ray of Uxio divine thunder was completely absorbed, a piece of jade with strands of golden arcs appeared under the thunder. Crack. Sudong's eyes fell, and the originally smooth surface of the jade suddenly cracked, and golden arcs jumped down with jade fragments. As the jade shattered, a completely golden crystal core flashed with electric light and slowly emerged. Chapter 793 The Strong One arrives. The jade peeled off quickly. The crystal core in it floated up, and a strange fluctuation came from the crystal core vaguely, and the golden arcs reflected a majestic power. This is. Sudong's eyes moved slightly. At this moment, figures flashed on the 80 Thunder Mountains. Among them was the Holy Spirit who had previously reminded Sudong to be careful of the yellow bird Holy Spirit, and many powerful people also looked over. The cold and thunder raged across the thunder sea sky, and figures flew up quickly and quickly approached this thunder mountain. They occupied all directions at the same time. Then their eyes were fixed on the figure in the thunder mountain. In the sky, a young man in a loose robe passed by quickly like a flash of lightning, bringing a subtle roar along the way, which was the sound of tearing the spiritual energy directly. This figure flew across the sky, not caring about the thunder in the sky at all. When flying over the 80 Thunder Mountains, white lightning flashed in his eyes. Looking down from afar, at a glance, he saw the scene of people moving to surround a Thunder Mountain, and naturally saw the scene of the top of the Thunder Mountain quickly putting away a secret treasure that was shining with golden light. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to encounter a rare treasure, the figure murmured to himself. His vision was very high, and ordinary treasures were not in his eyes at all. He didn't care about the rumor of 80 Thunder Mountains. However, since I have encountered it, I can't just ignore it and pass by empty-handed. The figure smiled, and then there was a flash of lightning around him. The sky suddenly made a thunderous sound, and his figure turned into a lightning and fell straight towards the Thunder Mountain below. The treasure is in hand. It's time to go. Sudong put away the treasure and turned to look around. Because he was standing on the Thunder Mountain, he could see the figures that had already surrounded him below, and each of them was staring at him. TSK, these guys are the masters of the top holy spirits after all. Do they have to be so greedy? Sudong smiled lightly, his eyes flickered slightly. There was no sense of oppression at all. In a life and death fight, he may not have the confidence to kill all the opponents, but he still believes that there is hope for escaping. Let's go. Sudong's figure blurred. Stop him. Don't let him escape. Don't leave. Leave the treasure. Many holy spirits attacked at the same time. Sudong's divine fire wings behind him vibrated. His figure blurred, and he quickly flew out of the range of Thunder Mountain. Since he got the treasure, this treasure hunt is worth it. But suddenly, the sky that was originally very bright under the sea of thunder quickly dimmed, and then a trace of white arcs like elves floated in the sky around Sudang. Sudang, who was running at full speed, suddenly stopped, frowned, and looked at the white arcs around him, and the sky that suddenly dimmed. In the sky, it seemed that there was a huge shadow covering everything, and the white arc touched his skin, and he could feel a little numbness through the 9 nether divine fire protecting his body. In battle, any numbness is fatal. Is there a top expert? Sudang's face changed, and his heart was also very solemn. What kind of expert could have such means? Leave it to me. The treasure is mine. Whoosh. Just as Sudang was concentrating on being alert, 2 figures suddenly shot out from the distance. One was a white-haired old man, and the other was an ugly monster with a pair of flesh wings on his back. They all rushed towards Sudang frantically. However, before they rushed to Sudang, 2 dazzling white lightnings pierced through the 2 people directly, and suddenly 2 terrified and shrill screams rang out. The screams resounded throughout the Legion area and everyone heard them. The holy spirits who still wanted to rush over stopped in fear and looked at this sight in surprise. A few dozen feet in front of Sudang, 2 bodies were completely torn into pieces by lightning, and the blood of the gods was scattered. The bodies fell down, and many holy spirits couldn't help but tremble. Many of them wiped their sweat quietly, and some looked up at the sky with palpitations, obviously frightened by such means. Boom. The sky and the earth were dark. White lightning was floating wantonly, covering all directions of Legion. At this moment, many holy spirits in the entire Legion area were no longer crazy as before, and they all watched with bated breath. They dared not make any sound. In the sky, a young man in a loose robe walked down, and his pupils flashing with white lightning looked at Sudang below. Boy, hand over the treasure. From the moment the sky and the earth were dark, Sudang was secretly shocked. His eyes flashed, and white lightning was shrouded in all directions, and the power of the white lightning was even more terrifying. What kind of existence can have such means? Domination realm. How could the domination realm appear in this 10,000 Thunder Palace? Didn't they say that the domination realm was looking for treasures in the core area? My 9 nether fire lotus divine body is no match for it. Even if the Tush divine body wears the Dragon King divine armor and stimulates the power of the stars, it is still not a match. The gap is too big. Sudang thought about the countermeasures, but he couldn't help sweating. In the face of absolute strength crushing, there is no way at all. This strong man didn't kill me right away. Sudang knew in his heart that he was trying to steal the treasure. Forget it. Who made me unlucky? The divine body is more important. Let's just give up this treasure. Sudang was very sober. The 9 nether fire lotus divine body must not be lost. As for the treasure, losing some of it is nothing. As long as the green mountains are there is no fear of running out of firewood. Sudang was about to take out the treasure, and then a voice came from above. Boy, hand over the treasure. The voice resounded between heaven and earth. This voice. Sudang was startled and looked up. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. 80 thunder mountains are on all sides. The yellow bird holy spirit and many powerful holy spirits all retreated. Who is that? A master realm strongman? How come he is here? Haha, ridiculous. You can't recognize who that is. Some strong men retreated to a distance before they dared to talk. Who? They asked one after another. That is the Lord of Changjiang Hall, one of the 10 palace Ashura kings in the Buzhao mountain lineage of Huan Kundeofu. He is from the great light god Kilin clan, and his Taoist magic is infinitely powerful. Although he has not reached the domination realm, he is not far away. An old man's holy spirit spoke. Changjiang Hall Shura King? Is he so scary? If he has not reached the domination realm, he simply ignores the thunder sea of the 10,000 Thunder Hall. Everyone looked up and marveled. The 10,000 Thunder Hall, which is full of dangers for them, is just walking sideways. The yellow bird holy spirit looked from afar, and her beautiful eyes also flashed with strange colors. You got the treasure, and met the Shura King of Changjiang Hall. I really don't know if you are lucky or unlucky. She thought silently. Why don't you hand it over? The Shura King of Changjiang Hall looked down at the holy spirit of divine fire below. Greetings to the Shura King of Changjiang Hall. Sudang smiled. He was not afraid at all, but he also saluted respectfully. Yes. The Shura King of Changjiang nodded slightly. He also felt strange in his heart, and felt that the holy spirit of divine fire below was somewhat familiar. That's why he was so easy to talk to, but for some reason he felt familiar and friendly. As long as the latter handed over the treasure, it would be fine. Sudong smiled, and indeed took out something. The white arc blocked it, and the outside world couldn't see what it was. Of course it was not a treasure, but just a Taoist talisman. As soon as he saw the talisman, "Is it you?" The Shura King of Changjiang Palace was stunned. "It's me." Sudong saluted quickly. He turned his hand and put away the Taoist talisman. "You. Is this your divine body?" "Yes." Sudong nodded. Chapter 794, The Ancestral Thunder Beast. There are many strong people who practice clones in the void, but most of the clones are weak. Sudong's main body has reached the level of 18 crowns, and his clone is also so strong. This is incredible. The Lord of Changjiang Palace was silent. No wonder the outside world is so dangerous now. You still dare to come out and venture. Sudong, your clone's body also has the strength of an 18 crown Shura King. Previously, the Shura King of Changjiang Palace saw Sudong's instant burst of speed, and knew the depth of Sudong's strength. His body speed was absolutely at the standard of an 18 crown Shura King. The speed alone was so fast that it could be seen that the divine body and divine power were extraordinary. I also spent a lot of energy on this clone, Sudong said, but he sighed in his heart. He was not a clone. He was the original body, and now he became a holy spirit. Without the shackles of Tao, each divine body had the same realm, and the difference was only a little. But no matter how many clones he had, they were still far behind the Shura King of Changjiang Palace in front of him. Sudong looked at the white arcs jumping around. Previously, these arcs were so overbearing and brutal that they made him palpitate. Just the breath made him feel numb. At this moment, they became much gentler, without any mighty murderous aura. This was the first time he saw the Shura King of Changjiang Palace take action. Sudong knew that the Shura King of Changjiang Palace was the great bright god Killin, who was born good at controlling thunder, but there were probably very few people in the entire great bright god Killin clan who could practice thunder magic to this level. Compared with the Shura King of Changjiang Palace, I'm far behind. Sudong sighed. How long have you been practicing? If you are given another 1,000 years, I'm afraid you will surpass me. The Shura King of Changjiang Palace smiled and shook his head. I passed by here and came here when I saw a treasure coming out. It turned out to be you. Haha, forget about the treasure, but it is not a wasted trip to help you out. Thank you, sir. Sudong clasped his fists again. He had a good relationship with the Shura King of Linyu, so naturally he also had a good relationship with the Shura King of Changjiang Palace. Do you still need my help? The Shura King of Changjiang Palace asked. Sudong shook his head quickly. Look, the Shura King of Changjiang Palace is smiling. The two are actually talking. All the figures were watching. The white thunder blocked the Thunder Mountain, and the might was overwhelming. Just standing there, it seemed like the master of this area. It is said that the Shura Kings of the 10 palaces of Huangquandaofu are all close to the Master King, and they are only one step away from breaking through. Today, I saw that it is indeed worthy of the reputation. It is really terrible. It is said that the strongest of the 10 Shura Kings is the Shura King of Yama Palace. He is the super strong man who is really close to the domination realm. Domination realm. To break through the domination realm, you need to survive the 3 tribulations of domination. Whether you can survive it is uncertain. Some people whispered and discussed quietly, but they did not dare to say it out loud. It is well known how powerful the 10 Shura Kings are, and they have a very good relationship with each other. Even if they are not discussing the Shura King of Changjiang Palace, if the Shura King of Changjiang Palace hears them discussing the Shura King of Yama Palace, the end will not be too good. And watching, many figures suddenly saw a flash of white light. The Shura King of Changjiang Palace is gone. Leaving now? Didn't you kill the Holy Spirit of Divine Fire? Looking into the distance. In the sky, the Shura King of Changjiang Palace turned into a flash of lightning, and instantly penetrated the space and went away. Only Sudong was left to salute respectfully. The Shura King of Changjiang Palace said that purgatory is ready to move, and there is a great turmoil in the void. Sudong said silently, A strong man like the Shuriking of Changjiang Palace felt that there was a great turmoil and came here to seek opportunities. It can be seen how terrible purgatory is. Under an overturned nest, how can eggs remain intact? Purgatory life is the enemy of all life. Sudong's face was solemn, but there was no fear in his eyes. He had a tough character. The more crisis there was, the more fearless he was. Fear was useless, and improving oneself was the fundamental. He was also trying to find a breakthrough. Looking around, many holy spirits on the distant Thunder Mountain looked at him. Some of them saw his gaze and smiled with their fists clasped. Everyone thought that I handed over the treasure, and the Shuriking of Changjiang Palace let me go. Sudong smiled. In fact, no matter whether he handed over the treasure or not, those holy spirits would not rob it. If he didn't hand it over, the people who were let go by the Shuriking of Changjiang Palace, how dare they take action again? This Thunder Mountain treasure has also been gone. Sudong also turned into a black flame and disappeared in the mountains. No holy spirit tried to stop him. Soon, those holy spirits also went their own way, but when they talked, they occasionally talked about the power of the Shuriking of Changjiang Palace, when he appeared before, and what kind of treasure Sudong got. 9 days later, Sudong flew tens of thousands of miles out of the range of Thunder Mountain, and then his figure flashed and landed in a hill. The knife in his hand flashed, and he opened up a cave, and entered it immediately. This book has been updated recently in @ Update. After sitting cross-legged in the cave, Sudong began to study the treasure he had obtained in the core data space. In the core data space, the crystal core emitting golden ox was spinning and emitting misty lightning. The lightning light fluctuated, as if it had life. It turned out to be a thunder embryo. Sudong was silent, with a hint of joy in his eyes. As the name suggests, the thunder embryo is the embryo that breeds thunder beasts, but it is not an ordinary thunder beast, but an ancestor level thunder beast. Legend has it that all the thunder beasts in the 10,000th Thunder Palace are derived from the ancestral thunder beast, and the ancestral thunder beast is born from the thunder fetus. The stronger the ancestral thunder beast is, the stronger the derived thunder beast will be. Once, a top powerhouse obtained a thunder fetus in the 10,000th Thunder Palace, and after giving birth to the ancestral thunder beast, he controlled it, which was equivalent to controlling a large number of thunder beast legion. As a result, the general big forces did not dare to provoke this powerhouse, and finally founded a sect called the Beast Taming Sect. The Taoism of this sect is to control some magical insects and beasts, which is quite famous. Sudong had seen it in the intelligence of Huangquan Daofu, but he didn't expect that he could also get a thunder fetus. Although I don't understand the Taoism of beast taming, my core data can be cloned into countless avatars. After breaking through the Daoxuan realm, I will prepare to breed another clone. This thunder fetus is far better than the general innate creature seed. Legend has it that the ancestor of the thunder beast itself is not very strong, but the most powerful thing is the ability of its derived thunder beasts. The thunder beasts are improved as the strength of the ancestor of the thunder beast increases. The cultivation of ordinary thunder beast ancestors is still slow, but as my clone, the level will rise, and there is no need to worry about the realm improvement. Moreover, the legend of the thunder beast ancestors is ordinary, but the thunder method and divine body are extremely strong. Sudong chuckled. With a strong understanding of Taoism and a strong divine body, the quality of the Dao Shendan produced by cultivation will also be very high. This is the best fourth clone. Mastering the divine body of the thunder beast ancestors is also a huge group of thunder beasts. These two benefits are indeed a great treasure, and the value is not lower than the Dragon King's divine armor. It seems that I'm lucky. Refine. In the core data space, Sudong's transformed will stood in the void, and immediately the huge will penetrated into the thunder embryo crystal core. The crystal core formed a space of its own, which was only the size of an ordinary room. In this room, the golden electric light wrapped a life phantom with two claws and wings, similar to a bat, like a cocoon. That was the will of the thunder beast ancestors. Destroy. Sudong's mind moved. Puff. The will of the thunder beast ancestor in the cocoon had no room for resistance and was instantly wiped out. Then, Sudong's will took over the cocoon in an instant. Chapter 795 Four-Colored Thunder Banner. Sudong's will was too strong. After occupying the thunder fetus, he easily merged with it. All kinds of insights suddenly emerged in his mind. The ancestral thunder beast was born in the endless sea of thunder. There are very few of them, and they are extremely rare. They are born with two great magical powers. The first is to derive thunder beasts. As long as the origin is sufficient, thunder beasts can be derived. However, every additional thunder beast derived will weaken the origin, and the strength of the divided thunder beasts is also limited. Only 1/10 or 1/12 of the original strength. The number of thunder beasts is mainly limited by the original power of the ancestral thunder beast. The stronger the original power of the thunder beast, the more thunder beasts can be derived. The second magical power is to transform into thunder. Sudan received this information. Suddenly, his eyes were slightly bright. He had already known about the first magical power of splitting thunder beasts, but this was the first time he had come into contact with this magical power. As the name suggests, the transformation into thunder is that the ancestral thunder beast can be completely transformed into thunder. The transformed thunder can be used as a magic weapon to attack, or it can be attached to the body of a strong man and transformed into a thunder robe. Can attack or defend. No wonder there is a thunder fetus hidden in the 80 Thunder Mountains. This thunder fetus is absolutely a top-notch magic weapon. Sudan thought secretly. After his fourth clone chose this ancestor level thunder beast, he could use it as a magic weapon at any time, and his strength would be enhanced. It was a complete surprise. The fourth clone could fit in with any other clone. It couldn't be more perfect. Separately, it could form a thunder beast army, and together, it would be a top-notch magic weapon. Powerful and perfect. This is how Sudan felt about this clone. After receiving the divine communication, the next thing was the many treasures needed to breed the ancestor level thunder beast. All kinds of treasures. Each one was a heavenly and earthly treasure with thunder attributes. Sure enough, the stronger the life, the more spiritual materials are needed. It is no easier to breed this ancestor level thunder beast to the level of the Holy Spirit than the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body. I don't have these treasures at the moment, but the thunder fetus was born in the 10,000th Thunder Palace, and there are naturally all kinds of treasures in the 10,000th Thunder Palace for its breeding and growth. At present, the only treasure in my hand that can slightly nourish its growth is the Uxio Divine Thunder that I collected. Sudan smiled. Uxio Divine Thunder originally appeared with this thunder fetus, and with a thought, a dark golden gourd appeared in the core data space. Precious gourd, release. Sudan chanted the spell. Wow. Suddenly, twisted arcs of lightning spewed out and raged in the core data space, and then, the thunder fetus that Sudan had already occupied took the initiative to release a kind of swallowing force, and the previously powerful Uxio Divine Thunder quickly surrounded Sudan's thunder fetus. Then, arcs of electricity quickly drilled into it like twisted electric snakes. At the moment, when these arcs penetrated into the crystal core, the thunder embryo that had completely transformed into Sudan's divine body seemed to be suddenly stimulated, and the entire crystal core suddenly lit up at that moment. Suddenly, a surging thunder power spread out and spread to every part of the thunder embryo. The divine thunder that my 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body couldn't stop. When it came to the thunder embryo, it was directly reduced to nutrients. It's really one thing overcoming another. Sudan couldn't help but smile. Outside, Sudan, the 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body in the cave, opened his eyes, and the dark purple eyes like colored glass flashed lightly. It seems that this trip to the 10,000th Thunder Palace will be delayed for a while, and the many spiritual objects that the thunder embryo breeds need to be gathered. Sudan said secretly. Moreover, a few of the various spiritual objects needed by the thunder embryo are still gathered in the depths of the 10,000th Thunder Palace. Fortunately, he also wants to go deep to find the 9 Tribulations divine thunder, so there is no conflict. But in addition to the dangers in the 10,000th Thunder Palace, the other holy spirits who entered the 10,000th Thunder Palace also flocked to the core. The closer they got there, the more trouble they would have. After all, even a strong man like the Shura King of Changjiang Palace appeared, so you can imagine how deep the water in the 10,000th Thunder Palace is. This time he was lucky. It's hard to say whether he will have such luck next time. Be careful, he said secretly. Whoosh. Sudong's figure moved, and then he flew out of the simple cave, turned into a black flame, and quickly shuttled forward. This rapid progress lasted for more than 10 days. In the middle, he passed by some treasure land several times, and Sudong also stopped for a while to find several spiritual objects that nurtured thunder fetuses, but the general direction did not deviate. It's getting close. In about another day, we will be able to fly to the place where the fragments of the 9 tribulations divine thunder Daoyun are left. Sudong flew in a thunder magnetic mountain at low altitude. There were thunders everywhere in the mountain, and the power reached the level of the Holy Spirit, but it was far from the power of the Uxio divine thunder. Sudong's divine body was extraordinary, so he could easily withstand it. Suddenly, his speed slowed down. He looked forward with concentration, but he saw that behind the mountains in front, many Holy Spirit figures had gathered unconsciously. There were even more than the Treasureland Thunder Mountain. Sudong stood in the Thunder Magnetic Mountain, and behind it, it was faintly visible that there was a broken cave house floating above the mountain range, and there seemed to be a thunder banner floating in the cave. There were 4 colors of blue, yellow, and purple divine thunder flashing in the thunder banner, with extraordinary power. The most peculiar thing was that there was a striking blood-colored thunder bead on the top of the thunder banner. That thunder bead. Sudong narrowed his eyes and saw it clearly. At this time, a Holy Spirit flew by in the distance. "Is it you?" The Holy Spirit looked at Sudong. Sudong turned his head to look. The man was tall, with lightning flashing in his eyes. He was the innate Holy Spirit who had reminded him of the deadline for the Thunder Tribulation test before entering the 10,000th Thunder Palace. Sudong nodded. At this moment, the Holy Spirit also knew Sudong's methods. His body movement speed was against the sky, his Taoism was extraordinary, and he was even more courageous. He even dared to provoke the withered dragon god. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. Naturally, he respected him a lot. The strong are respected. If you don't know your strength, you will only think you are arrogant. After knowing your strength, arrogance seems normal. Are you here for the Thunder Control Pearl as well? The burly Holy Spirit asked. I just happened to pass by. You said that was the Thunder Control Pearl? Sudong said. Yes. The burly figure nodded and looked at the blood-colored bead on the top of the 4-color thunder banner. The Thunder Control Pearl, of course, is not used to control divine thunder, but thunder beasts. It is quite famous in the 10,000th Thunder Palace, and it is made with the original thunder bead of the ancestor level thunder beast, which is extremely precious. With this thunder banner, I can control many thunder beasts in the 10,000th Thunder Palace, which is also a great tool. Sudong nodded. He had seen the power of thunder beasts. The information about the Thunder Control Pearl was described in the Huanquan Daofu information. He didn't expect that he would encounter the thunder banner made from the Thunder Control Pearl just after he had a thunder fetus. The thunder banner obviously has other effects. The Thunder Control Pearl is a treasure, but it is not easy to get it. It is said that Cheyenne-Mui ancient Buddha and Killing God have fought. We will go there to join in the fun. If we can't get the treasure, it's good to gain experience. The burly figure smiled. Sudong was surprised. They have already fought? There is also the old dragon of Killing God. Yes, you know the tyranny of Killing God. The burly figure smiled. The latter had attacked Sudong before. Sudong didn't care. Instead, he looked at the 4-color thunder banner with interest. If the two of them fight, the treasure will be ownerless. Whoosh. Sudong immediately flew over, and the burly Holy Spirit flew over with him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 796. I'll help you. The withered dragon god had fought before, and his power was not weak. Even the two Sudongs were no match for him, but when it came to escaping, Sudong was still confident. Cheyenne-Mui true Buddha, it was said that he was good at divine body, and his golden body was indestructible and famous in the void, but he was not good at speed. Sudong had a good idea in his mind, so he flew over. Since neither of them was good at body skills, He was fearless and could see if there was a chance to grab the treasure. After flying over the Kyanli mountain, Sudong and the burly Holy Spirit flew to the edge of the mountain together. There was already a group of Holy Spirits watching everywhere, and everyone dispersed. The two of them did not attract any attention at all. In front of the broken cave house suspended in the center, on the left was a pitch black dragon with a divine body of 10,000 feet long, and the dragon's might was everywhere. On the right, stood a bald monk, with golden light on his back, which was quite fascinating. The two confronted each other. It was the withered dragon god and Chyanmui true Buddha. Shinhuo, with these two here, forget about the thunder banner and the lightning orb. The withered dragon lord has transformed into his true form, and one claw is the top power of the perfect realm. The Buddha's hand of Chyanmui true Buddha is no joke. The burly figure spoke beside him. Because they are both innate creatures, he is really enthusiastic about Sudong. Yeah. Sudong nodded, watching silently. The chance is not great now, but if the withered dragon lord and Chyanmui true Buddha fight and both lose, the chance of these holy spirits will come. Everyone gathered here, not all of them are waiting for this opportunity, but they just know it tacitly. If it's just the withered dragon lord, it's fine. I don't know how strong Chyanmui true Buddha is. Sudong is more curious about Chyanmui true Buddha. The two top masters confronted each other below, and no one took the initiative to attack. After all, there was no absolute certainty of defeating the other. Shinhuo, it seems that someone is going to take action. The burly figure with lightning flashing in his eyes spoke. Sudong immediately looked up and saw a slight commotion among the crowd on the opposite hill. Whoosh! Suddenly, a figure couldn't hold back and turned into a flash of lightning, rushing straight to the ruined cave in the center. Someone has taken action. It's the star-picking saint. Exclamations arose. What a fast speed. Sudong narrowed his eyes slightly, and in an instant, he only saw a flash of black light, which was completely comparable to his speed. The star-picking saint is a top-notch casual cultivator. He only got the title of Saint Lord after a record of battle, because of his amazing body movement and speed. Looking for death. Get lost. The withered dragon god and the Chyanmui true Buddha actually took action at the same time. The two aimed at the star-picking saint together, and blasted out a dragon tail that blurred the space and a huge golden palm print that seemed to cover the sky and the sun. Sudong had seen the dragon tail before, and the golden palm print seemed to have turned into a huge golden cloud, completely covering the surrounding mountains and the sky, and then instantly shrank, locking onto the star-picking saint and crushing him. The power was so strong that the aftermath alone made Sudong feel palpitations and depression. I dodge, dodge, dodge. A flash of black lightning kept moving around the star-picking saint lord. With a flash, he dodged the sweep of the dragon's tail of the withered dragon lord, and then faced the golden palm print. Boom. The golden palm print hit the star-picking saint lord, and the star-picking saint lord dodged. But then it hit again, and the latter dodged again, and then the dragon's tail came again. Snap. The star-picking saint lord was hit hard. Then the golden palm print fell again. Bang. The palm print hit the star-picking saint lord's body. The star-picking saint lord immediately flew backwards, and divine blood spilled into the sky, and then flew away in a flash. Humph. Relying on your body skills, you want to rob the treasure? The withered dragon lord snorted coldly. Chyanmui true Buddha remained silent. How pitiful. The star-picking saint lord is still very courageous, and his body skills are also fast. Unfortunately, the withered dragon lord and Chyanmui true Buddha joined forces, and he didn't stand a chance at all. We don't stand a chance either. Everyone discussed. Sudong also frowned and watched. I thought the two would fight each other, and others would have a chance to take advantage of them. These two actually joined forces to deal with others. I understand. Neither of them is sure to defeat the other, and they are afraid of both being hurt, so they are waiting for help. Whoever's help arrives first will get the treasure. Once their help arrives, there will be no chance for the treasure. No, we must let them fight. Sudong's eyes narrowed. Only by fighting will he have a chance. After all, he has the treasure good. As long as he gets closer by dozens of feet, he will have a chance. He is indeed quite interested in the 4-color lightning banner and the imperial lightning bead. If I have this imperial lightning bead, it will be much easier to mobilize the thunder beast, to find all kinds of spiritual objects needed for me to breed the thunder fetus. Sudong thought to himself. The burly holy spirit next to him kept shaking his head. He had no chance at all. Whoosh. Suddenly a stream of light flew out, and the burly holy spirit's eyes flashing with lightning were stunned. Divine fire. He stared at the stream of light flying out with his eyes wide open. The speed of the divine fire holy spirit is fast, and he has seen it before, but it's just like that. Do you still want to take the treasure? Look, another holy spirit is taking action. You don't know what's good for you. This book was recently updated on #@. Update. What a fast speed, not slower than the star-picking saint. There was an uproar. Sudong's speed was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he rushed over a distance of 1,000 miles, and rushed to the front of the cave. Ha! You dare to come? The withered dragon lord roared first. Then he saw that figure, and when he saw Sudong's appearance clearly, he became even more angry. It's you? Die. The old account of robbing its dragon corpse has not been settled yet, and this kid dares to come. Does he think that the withered dragon lord is a vegetarian? This time it directly waved its two huge dragon claws. The dragon claws tore the sky, the power shook the sky, and wanted to kill Sudong. Suppress. Cheyenne True Buddha also wanted to take action. But at this time, he was suddenly startled, and the withered dragon lord was also startled. The holy spirits all over the mountains were startled. Because Sudong turned into a stream of light, he didn't go to the cave, but rushed directly to the dry dragon lord. Old dragon. Do you still want to take the treasure? True Buddha, I will help you defeat this old dragon. Sudong shouted. At the same time, the divine fire wings behind him shook. Cheyenne Luo Wangxiang performed the body skills and easily avoided the dragon claw. Have a grudge. Cheyenne True Buddha also reacted. He couldn't help but smile. Then he flipped his palm and slapped the dry dragon lord directly, looking for death. The dry dragon lord roared angrily. The huge dragon body soared into the air, and the majestic power suddenly condensed into a series of dragon-shaped phantoms that crushed towards Sudong. This power was enough to crush Sudong. Dragon Lord Divine Armor. The surface of Sudong's divine body flashed with golden light, and suddenly there was a golden, real dragon-shaped divine armor, as if it had turned into a dragon. Boom. A tail was pulled out. The dragon-shaped phantom that was whipped by the tail shook for a moment, and then it was bounced away. Then the dragon-shaped phantom hit Sudong's divine body, through the Dragon Lord divine armor. Sudong didn't even tremble. The physical power is weakened by 90%. Haha, it's so easy. Sudong laughed. Good divine armor. Cheyenne True Buddha slapped the dry dragon divine lord. Ah. The dry dragon divine lord was so angry when he saw the dragon lord divine armor that Sudong sacrificed. He swung out his claws in an instant. The surface of the dragon scales, which was shining with cold light, flashed with divine light, and it was in front of Sudong in the blink of an eye. At the moment, when Sudong collided with the claws, Sudong's eyes flashed. Boom. He was blown away directly. Haha, Daoist friend, just look at me. Cheyenne True Buddha smiled and punched out. The dazzling golden light contained terrifying power and instantly burst out. He hit the dry dragon divine lord fiercely. This little friend's body skills and body protection are good, but it's a pity that his overall strength is a bit lacking. Cheyenne True Lord thought. Taking a break from his busy schedule, Cheyenne engine glanced behind him to see if the Taoist friend was okay. When he saw him, the smile on his face suddenly froze. In fact, there was no need to look. Under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, everything was clear. Sudong, who was blown away, was holding a gourd and chanting to the four-color lightning flag. My precious gourd, take it for me. Chapter 797. Fortune and honor in danger. You dare? Even a clay figure was still a little angry, let alone a strong man like Cheyenne True Buddha, who understood in an instant that the Holy Spirit of Divine Fire was not helping him at all. The latter was purely trying to take advantage of the situation and fish in troubled waters. However, the four-color lightning banner was not so easy to take. Cheyenne True Buddha's offensive changed instantly, and the golden palm print immediately blasted towards Sudong. The withered dragon god lord also understood what Sudang was up to in an instant, raised his dragon claws, and also blasted towards Sudang. They all set up restrictions around the 4-color lightning banner, believing that anyone who took it would take a lot of time to break the restrictions. But Sudang activated the dark golden gourd, and as he muttered, the dark golden airflow suddenly swept out from the mouth of the gourd, gushing and entwining the 4-color lightning banner. The 4-color lightning banner instantly shrank, the dark golden airflow shrank, and the latter suddenly flew into the mouth of the gourd. What? Just take it like that? Cheyenne True Lord and the withered dragon god lord both widened their eyes. That gourd is also a good treasure. Ignoring their prohibitions, he easily took the 4-color lightning banner. Then Sudang put away the gourd, dodged, flapped his divine fire wings, and used the Cheyenne Luo Wang Xiang body technique to easily dodge the palm and dragon claw attack. Thank you for the gift. I will accept this 4-color lightning banner. Sudang smiled, and his ethereal figure also bowed to the dry dragon god in Cheyenne True Buddha. Especially he clasped his fists to Cheyenne True Buddha. That old dragon has thick skin and flesh. I will deal with it well next time. If it weren't for Cheyenne True Lord's restraint, it would not be easy for him to succeed. But the two of them were originally working together to restrain each other, so Sudang didn't feel too guilty. Leave it to me. Cheyenne True Buddha roared, and the powerful divine power suddenly surged out of his body, like a storm, raging a layer of golden light thousands of feet high. The golden light surrounded his divine body, shaking the entire Wanlui Palace void with a buzzing sound. Little Holy Spirit, do you think you can play tricks on me with your skills and treasures? The golden light enveloped a golden Buddha kingdom that stretched for thousands of miles suddenly descended like an overwhelming force. The golden Buddha kingdom spread out, and a might far more fierce and domineering than that of the withered dragon lord suddenly erupted, directly suppressing Sudang's high-speed escaping divine body to slow down. The battle that broke out in the void also made the many holy spirits who were looking around look at each other in bewilderment. First, the seemingly inconspicuous holy spirit of divine fire suddenly attacked the withered dragon lord, and then made a feint to the east and attacked the west to seize the 4-color thunder banner in one fell swoop. These changes really shocked them. The courage of the holy spirit of divine fire is really not a little bit big. Good. Is it him? I have seen this holy spirit of divine fire in Cheyenne Lake. Arrogant and domineering. I didn't expect him to be so bold. Someone recognized Sudang. I admire you. There was a sound of exclamation, and even the burly holy spirit with lightning flashing in his eyes watched silently. Did the divine fire really take the lightning banner and the imperial lightning bead? Can he escape? That was the withered dragon god and the furious Cheyenne True Buddha. Buddha realm. Sudang felt his divine body sink. Under the huge Buddha realm, his body speed slowed down. The next moment, a fierce and huge golden palm rushed over. There was a dark edge around the palm print, shattering the space. Obviously, the furious true Buddha would not show any mercy. Dragon Lord Divine Armor. Lotus Transformation. Facing this tyrannical attack, Sudang could only try his best to use various body protection methods. The palm print instantly bombarded his divine body. Boom. Layers of power penetrated. However, after the Dragon Lord Divine Armor, the heaven-defying Divine Armor weakened it by 90%, and the Lotus Transformation protected the body with a hazy lotus shadow. Only less than 10% of the power penetrated into Sudang's divine body. Boom. How terrible. The 90% weakening of the power directly tore my lotus side body protection magic. In terms of power, it is more terrible than that of the withered dragon god. Sudang was secretly shocked. If it weren't for the Dragon Lord armor, he would have been crushed to pieces in an instant. He is indeed the top true Buddha with a great reputation in the void. But he couldn't do anything about the Dragon Lord armor. It weakened 90% of its power, which was too terrible. Sudang's divine body shook slightly, and he easily dissipated this power. Then, with the help of this recoil force, his figure turned into a black flame, and quickly flew out of the domain of the Buddha kingdom, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Good divine armor. Good body skills. Cheyenne True Buddha was so angry, that his face turned black, but he had to shake his head. He had praised it before, and then he suffered a loss. Humph. The withered dragon lord snorted coldly, and his huge dragon body circled, and quickly flew away. The Dragon Lord armor was a treasure of his dragon clan. It was originally a reward for the younger generation with extraordinary talents to protect themselves, but it fell into the hands of the Holy Spirit of Divine Fire. Especially at this moment, the latter was still wearing this divine armor, and was extremely arrogant in front of him, which really made him hate it. Boy, next time I see you, I will let you know what it means to have a higher power than the one you have. The withered dragon lord growled. I have to find a helper to trap that boy. Give him a good beating. How can he bear it? How terrifying is his divine body? This book has been recently updated on #@. Update. All the strong men were stunned to see that Sudang could easily withstand the palm of Shayanmui true Buddha, and just shook his divine body and turned around and flew away. It's not the divine body that is terrifying, it's the divine armor that is against the sky. If I'm not mistaken, it should be the Dragon King divine armor of the Dragon Clan. A strong man with a certain vision side. The top body protection artifact. The Dragon King divine armor? Immediately, the faces of the Holy Spirits showed jealousy. The Dragon King divine armor is a top body protection artifact. Even in the void, it is very famous. To have it, it almost means that you can ignore all physical divine power attacks, which is 2 against the sky. Give me the Dragon King armor, and I dare to take it. Do you have the Holy Spirit body skill of the divine fire? The Holy Spirit next to him snorted disdainfully. But he also understood that wealth and honor are sought in danger. This is the truth. And at the edge of the thunder magnetic mountain, the burly figure silently watched Sudang fly away with the 4-color lightning banner, and also revealed the artifact treasures such as the Dragon King armor. I really got it. The more treasures, the easier it is to get treasures. He was envious. At this moment, he knew that Sudang had 3 treasures on him. The treasure gourd, the Dragon King armor, and the 4-color lightning banner inlaid with the Imperial Thunder bead. Obviously, this is not all. How many treasures does he have? The burly Holy Spirit trembled. Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body, wearing the Dragon King armor, was like a golden dragon shadow, flying thousands of miles away in an instant, and without slowing down at all, quickly flew over this area. In terms of strength, Shayanmui true Buddha is even better than that Kilung divine lord. TSK. Now he has not only provoked Kilung divine lord, but also Shayanmui true Buddha. Sudang was helpless. This is how it is to snatch treasures. Either you provoke this one or you offend that one. But too many lice don't bite, and too many debts don't worry. Let him be. Fortunately, this time I won the 4-color lightning banner and the Imperial lightning bead. This is a big harvest. Sudang said secretly. The 9 nether fire lotus divine body flew tens of thousands of miles away, and the Dragon Lord divine armor on his body disappeared. This armor is good in every way, but it is too ostentatious. At the same time, in the core data space, in front of Sudang's Tuosh divine body, a large banner about 100 feet high was suspended. On the large banner, there were flashing 4-color thunders, and strange waves were emitted. It was the 4-color lightning banner that had already recognized its master. Chapter 798 Thunder Beast Legion. The chaotic airflow was floating, and Sudang's tush body looked at the 4-color thunder banner in front of him, but his eyes were quite difficult to understand. This 4-color thunder banner caused the withered dragon god and Shayanmui true Buddha to fight for it, but it was just a divine weapon. Sudang sighed. The quality of this magic weapon disappointed him a little. The 4-color thunder banner, the full name of which is the magic thunder banner, can release 4 divine thunders. The power of the divine thunder depends on the user's divine power level. The limit is just barely reaching the level of perfection. It is a bit useless for Sudang. In addition to the 4 divine thunders, there is another method, which is to control the thunder beast. The most critical function of this magic thunder banner is the thunder control bead embedded on the top. With this thunder control bead, the thunder beast can be controlled, which has great value in the void of the 10,000 Thunder Palace. After all, such a powerful creature as the Thunder Beast only appears in large numbers in this void. Summon the Thunder Beast. Sudang's mind moved. Outside, the 9 nether fire lotus divine body landed above a canyon, and a large 4-color banner appeared in Wu's hand, with lightning flashing on it. A blood-colored lightning bead even bloomed with blood-colored lightning halos, and suddenly sank into the ground. After recognizing the master, this magic thunder banner became Sudang's magic weapon, and his mind and spirit were connected. As the blood-colored lightning penetrated the ground, many scenes underground suddenly appeared in his mind. The huge thunder beasts that were originally hidden in it. They were like spots of light, emitting a faint light. The magic thunder banner can summon all thunder beasts within 10,000 miles around. The upper limit is 3,000. Within 10,000 miles, there are a total of 1,200 thunder beasts. Sudang looked at the spots of light that appeared in his mind, and was secretly shocked. This 10,000 thunder palace is really the world of thunder beasts. Get up. Sudang shook the magic thunder banner in his hand. Boom. 10 meters away, a plain ground suddenly exploded, and then accompanied by lightning flashes, a huge monster appeared. This huge creature, several dozen feet high, was made entirely of lightning. Its appearance resembled a tiger, with lightning interweaving and forming dense scales. The raging lightning patterns made this thunder beast full of explosive deterrents. A pair of eyes like thunder cores looked at Sudang respectfully, as if they had spirits. With the magic thunder banner, the summoned thunder beasts would automatically obey the owner of the magic thunder banner. The intelligence of thunder beasts is relatively low, but their fighting instincts are extremely sharp. Sudang thought to himself. Some thunder beasts can even enter the Tao through fighting, and improve their own thunder magic power. This is a creature born purely for fighting. Boom. 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 The ground exploded piece by piece, and lightning flashed continuously. Thunder beasts appeared in front of them one after another. Some of them were huge, and some were small. The largest one was even 100 feet long. The smallest one was only less than an inch. But even Sudang couldn't help but be a little afraid of the thunder beast that was only an inch long. When it appeared before, a lightning flash directly penetrated the ground, and its speed was amazing. In a real battle, the deterrent power of this inch-long thunder beast is far more terrifying than the huge thunder beast that is 100 feet tall. After the surprise, there is joy. Looking at the 1,200 thunder beasts in front of him, Sudang smiled. With this thunder beast army, there are too many more eyes and ears in the 10,000 thunder palace. Soul splitting. Through the magic thunder banner, Sudang's soul was easily split into 1,200 soul marks, each attached to the body of a thunder beast. Sudang's 9 nether fire lotus divine body was pale, but it was just a tiny soul. It could still bear it. Go. Immediately, the 1,200 thunder beasts dispersed, just like Sudang's 1,200 small clones spread out. The thunder beasts are better at shuttling through the sea of thunder in the sky, hiding in the earth below. It can be said that the void of the 10,000 thunder palace is the world of thunder beasts. Unfortunately, these thunder beasts can only be controlled within 10,000 miles, and they lose their effectiveness once they exceed 10,000 miles. Sudang said secretly. This is also a defect of the magic thunder banner. After all, it is just a magical weapon. Once Sudang's thunder beast clone is born, it will be different. The thunder beast derived from the ancestor level thunder beast can be easily controlled even at a long distance. It is a real thunder beast army. Search for the treasures needed to nourish my thunder beast clone within 10,000 miles. Sudang's soul mark is attached to each thunder beast. Just a moment. Blue thunder fruit. With Sudang as the center, in a gully thousands of miles away, or thunder beast instantly picked a fruit emitting blue lightning light. Then quickly returned to Sudang. If I search for this blue thunder fruit in the 10,000 thunder palace, I'm afraid it will take several months to find it. The thunder beasts are different. They know where there are treasures. The thunder beasts are the local snakes here. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. Continue. Sudang controlled thousands of thunder beasts while moving and searching. 10 days later. Haha, good luck. I found 2 more treasures. Sudang stood in a canyon ravaged by thunder and lightning. He put away the 2 spiritual objects. His face was full of joy. To sum up, there are a total of 26 treasures needed to breed the thunder beast clone. Now we have collected 23 of them, and we still need the last 3. If he were to search alone, it would take at least a year to find these 26 treasures. After all, he would be searching like a headless fly, which is too inefficient. The void of the 10,000 Thunder Palace is so vast that, even if there are many treasures, they are widely distributed. But the remaining 3 are also the 3 most scarce treasures. Let's search slowly. Sudong was not in a hurry at all, and in this slow and gradual search, about 6 days passed. After finding another treasure, he finally slowly arrived at the area recorded in the scroll that contained the fragments of the 9 tribulations divine thunder Dao Yun. Of course, this area also belongs to the core area of the entire 10,000 Thunder Palace. The violent sea of thunder floated in the sky, and from time to time, there would be lightning as thick as a bucket bursting down, fiercely drilling a small hole in the ground. A figure in a white robe stepped onto the top of the mountain and stood there silently. Sudong stood on the top of the mountain, and 2 powerful thunder beasts like monkeys stood around him. He looked into the distance, his eyes passed through the thunder, and he clearly saw that under the vast plain, there was a deep pit with no visible edge. In the deep pit, there were faint traces of some palace ruins. Those palace ruins could not be seen at a glance, but they exuded an ancient and dilapidated atmosphere. This ruin is the ruins of the Thunder City, the core of the 10,000 Thunder Palace. It is said that there are countless treasures and they are extremely magical. Sudong sighed silently. The scene in front of him was not shocking to him, but in the intelligence of Huangquan Daofu, the description of the ruins of the Thunder City was very strong. It was full of dangers, so don't enter lightly. Over the long years, I don't know how many strong people have entered it, wanting to explore the secrets and treasures in it, but until now, they have not thoroughly understood the area, but many strong people have died in it. Even strong people like the 19-crown Shuroking have fallen in it. On the one hand, it was because of the danger, and on the other hand, it was because of the fighting. Treasures are tempting, but if you don't have enough strength, those treasures often become death warrants. My strength is far from enough, so I don't need to think about exploring. I can find the remaining 2 treasures needed for the 9 tribulations divine thunder fragment and the thunder beast clone. Sudong was very calm. In such a place, the price of greed and excessive curiosity is often death. Chapter 799, Ruins Underground Palace. Go in. A black flame flashed at the edge of the ruins. Although the ruins of Thunder City were full of dangers, Sudong was lucky to have the magic thunder banner, which could control the thunder beasts to explore the way, which saved him a lot of trouble. In addition, there were many thunder beasts lurking in the ruins of Thunder City. It was extremely dangerous for others, but it was even more powerful for Sudong. Whoosh! 2 thunder beasts quickly shuttled into the ruins of Thunder City, and in the middle was Sudong holding the magic thunder banner. With the protection of the thunder beasts, some dangers could be overcome sideways, which made Sudong sigh. No wonder the top masters, Dry Dragon God and Chyanmui True Buddha, cared so much about the magic thunder banner. Although it was just a divine weapon, it was of great help in treasure hunting in Thunder City. Without any danger, Sudong walked for about half an hour and quickly touched the deep corner of the vast ruins of Thunder City. Then, behind the ruins, he carefully looked forward to a palace that was almost completely destroyed, with only ruins left. According to the scroll, the fragments of the Dao essence of the 9 tribulations divine thunder are stored here. Sudong thought to himself. The ruined palace in front of him, even though it was ruined, still exuded a majestic and ancient atmosphere, and there were thunder patterns engraved around the palace. The thunder patterns had faded due to the years, but one could still vaguely feel how violent and terrible the power that once remained in them was. It's so hidden, how did the Sea Saint get the record of the scroll? Sudong thought to himself, and at the same time, he controlled the 2 thunder beasts to quickly penetrate through the cracks in the broken wall. The soul mark attached to the thunder beast, through the broken wall, the only way through the ruins, was just a deep passage, and the thunder beast slowly moved in it. Sudong, who was hiding outside, urged the magic thunder banner in his hand, and frowned. Strange, there are many thunder beasts in other areas within 1,000 miles around me. Why are there no thunder beasts in the ruins in front of me? Sudong was puzzled. The thunder beast entered the deep passage. There was no light at all. However, the thunder beast itself was made of thunder, and it continuously emitted thunder light. As it moved forward, the soul attached to it gradually felt that the direction of this movement seemed to be constantly downward, and the passage poured directly into the ground. Moreover, this deep passage had more than one passage at the depths, and there were also many branch roads extending out. The route was extremely complicated, and the more it moved downward, Sudong's soul could clearly feel an invisible suppression on his soul, which reduced its perception and exploration range to only 5 feet around him. At this distance, it was impossible to explore the routes one by one. As for the scroll that had guided him here before, it was useless and only pointed to this ruined palace. Send more thunder beasts to explore. Sudong drove dozens of thunder beasts into the ruins of the palace, and he waited on top with ease. At that moment, dozens of thunder beasts rushed into the forks of the passage. Some of them found a dead end after traveling hundreds of meters, while others turned around and finally rushed out at some forks and met other thunder beasts. There were also several thunder beasts in the middle. They touched the terrible formations in the passage. The moment those formations were activated, the thunder beasts controlled by Sudong were directly destroyed into ashes, which also shocked Sudong secretly. He didn't know how long this thunder city had been destroyed, and the formations were even more broken, and only a corner was left. When it was touched and activated, it still had the top power of the perfect realm. How powerful would it be if it was intact? The most outrageous thing was that there was no sign when the formation was activated, and it exploded instantly, leaving no time to react. Fortunately, there are thunder beasts exploring the way. If I had rashly entered, I'm afraid that this 9 Nether Fire Lotus divine body would have been lost in it. Sudong sighed secretly. The intelligence from the Taoist mansion was true. This place was dangerous, really dangerous. About half an hour passed. 9 of the 73 thunder beasts that entered the ruins passageway died, and the rest entered 3 passageways, which are still extending. Sudong waited outside silently. The vast ruins of Thunder City are extremely vast, and the chance of encountering other holy spirits in a short period of time is still quite small. Even if they do meet, the holy spirits will be at peace without treasures, and will not attack, unless there is a grudge. Another moment passed. Another dead end, extending so long, it turned out to be a dead end. Sudong suddenly shook his head. The thunder beast he was attached to had traveled hundreds of miles downward, and in the end it turned out to be a dead end. There are 2 roads left. The 2 thunder beasts were still moving. These 2 passageways were the safest 2 passageways without any danger so far, and they moved forward all the way. In a blink of an eye, they flew hundreds of miles. The temperature in the 2 passageways seemed to have risen a lot, and it was obvious that they had gone deep into the ground. Sudong's face suddenly changed outside. In the 2 originally safe ruins passageways, a corner of a broken formation appeared in one of them. Although it was only a corner, it could instantly burst out with terrible power. Almost at the same time, in another passage, the space was instantly stagnant. Needless to say, the formation was the danger of this Thunder City itself, and the stagnant space. Is there a strong man? Sudong's heart moved. Puff. The thunder beast that activated the power of the formation was instantly killed. On the other side, twisted red thunder snakes condensed and appeared, hundreds of them, and in the moment of the stagnant space, they all killed the thunder beast in the passage. The thunder beast wanted to dodge, but the distance was too close, and it was submerged by hundreds of thunder snakes in the blink of an eye. This book was recently updated in #@. Update. Whoosh. A slender figure appeared in the passage. The figure was wearing a flowery robe, with a charming face, but a hint of cold murderous aura. There is actually a thunder beast. Puff. One of them waved his hand, and the thunder beast attached to Sudong's soul was instantly annihilated. When it was annihilated, Sudong's soul instantly peeked in front of the passage, and there was a palace underneath. There was another figure in the palace who seemed to be breaking some formation, and the cold female holy spirit was just protecting him. It's this passage. I didn't expect someone to get there first. Sudong's eyes narrowed slightly. No wonder there was no thunder beast in the entire area. It turned out that it had been cleared. But then Sudong didn't hesitate at all, and rushed into the passage in an instant. He had already arrived here, and the fragments of the 9 tribulations divine thunder Daoyun he needed might be there. How could he retreat? While rushing in, hundreds of thunder beasts followed him. These hundreds of thunder beasts rushed forward, and their might was a bit scary. In the palace deep underground, Brother you, how long will it take to break the formation? The cold and murderous female Holy Spirit had a divine sword suspended in front of her, looking at the figure breaking the formation in front of her. Don't worry, we have been waiting for more than 90 years, and we are still a few days away. The Holy Spirit who broke the formation smiled. In front of it, there was an offering table, on which many spiritual objects were placed, but they were covered with formations. The formations were quite profound, and could not be taken by force. The cold woman nodded, and was about to speak, when she suddenly frowned. Boom, a black flame rushed out of the passage. The female Holy Spirit was startled, and even the Holy Spirit who was breaking the formation was startled, and quickly stopped breaking the formation, and turned around to look over. Chapter 802 Divine Body Erupts. The black flame gradually twisted and dissipated, and then a handsome and evil figure was revealed, with the wings of divine fire flapping behind him. It was Sudan. Divine Fire Holy Spirit, come here alone. The two Holy Spirits looked at each other. From the initial surprise in their eyes, they calmed down instantly. They had been breaking the formation here for 90 years, and during this period, they had encountered Holy Spirits who broke into here more than once. Of course, the final result was that they were killed directly, and every time they got a lot of money, which Holy Spirit who could come here was not wealthy. Killing Holy Spirits is much faster than searching for treasures. Kill. Without the slightest hesitation, the two Holy Spirits attacked directly. Boom, boom, a sword light of the divine sword and a black whip shadow burst out with the power of the perfect realm. Die. Don't blame us, blame yourself for taking the wrong path. The Holy Spirit called. Brother you grinned. Just attack. So confident. Sudan was not in a hurry at all. When the strong Holy Spirits met each other, they would not attack directly, unless they were particularly confident in their own strength. Do you think you can crush him with two Holy Spirits? Go. Sudan waved his hand, and a magic lightning banner appeared in his hand. Boom. A roaring thunder beast suddenly flew out from the passage behind him. There were hundreds of thunder beasts. Some were violent and some were vicious. They rushed directly towards the two Holy Spirits. Sudan easily dodged the sword light and whip shadows of the two with just a shake of his divine fire wings, and even the corner of his clothes was not touched. Thunder Beast. Why is it so Thunder Beast? It's the thunder banner in his hand. The two figures' faces changed slightly, but unexpectedly, after just a slight shock, the cold female Holy Spirit smiled coldly, clenched her jade hand out of thin air, and a ring suddenly appeared in the center of her palm, and the ring immediately released layers of light to protect the two. Then the magic sword in her hand flew, and the underground space suddenly shattered layer by layer, and sword lights shot out. One sword was a thunder beast. Good tricks. Sudan was not surprised. Which Holy Spirit who can make a living here doesn't have some tricks? Die. The Holy Spirit who broke the formation was covered with black armor, and the long whip in his hand surged and floated, like a black spirit fish. It bound Sudan. Although Sudan's body movement was fast, the long whip had a strange trajectory, and covered him repeatedly. He actually felt that he had no way to escape. These two people, one is good at binding, and the other is good at attacking and killing. They are really good at cooperation. Sudan sighed. This is the smart Holy Spirit. When he ventured into the secret realm, he would bring Taoist friends who can make up for his own shortcomings to help. Together, they are almost fearless. Haha, this Holy Spirit should be desperate. He is good at body movement and speed. I bound him, and he couldn't even dodge. The Blackfish Holy Spirit laughed. Kill. The cold female Holy Spirit had a cold face. Although the two joined forces to venture, their personalities were obviously different. Baby gourd, collect it. Sudan flipped his hand and took out the dark golden gourd. But the dark golden airflow swept out immediately, drifted to the black long whip, wrapped around it, and then swallowed it into the gourd. Be careful, that gourd can hold magic weapons. Don't use magic weapons. The two people's faces changed slightly, but they immediately put away the magic weapons in their hands. A crack suddenly appeared between the eyebrows of the cold female saint, and the crack seemed to connect to another world. A golden light burst out from that world. The golden light was like a sword, and suddenly stabbed at Sudan. Yanshan golden sword? Sudan was slightly surprised. There are countless magical skills in the void, but there are only those that are the most advanced. Cheyenne Waitian sword technique is 1, Bahuang divine eye is 1, and this Yanshan golden sword is also 1. However, the difficulty of practicing Yanshan golden sword to perfection is no less than pushing Cheyenne Waitian sword technique to the 11th level. This female saint is really powerful. Sudong raised his palm while controlling the treasure gourd. Suddenly, a dark flame condensed into a sword finger. It collided directly with the golden light. Divine fire 10,000 tribulations finger. Bang. The two collided. Sudong's divine fire 10,000 tribulations finger collapsed directly. The cold female saint sneered, and the golden light like a sword still shot towards Sudong quickly. But at this moment, her heart suddenly trembled. A sense of badness came to her mind. Boom. Where Sudong was, a golden light flashed, and a figure appeared in an instant. The figure was covered with golden dragon armor, and held a pitch black longsword. Swish. The pitch black longsword became blurred, and vaguely, the sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. The terrifying power was like a volcanic eruption, and suddenly accompanied by the sword light. Boom. The sword light and the golden light collided. The golden light was directly shattered. It's been so long since I broke through the Deoxuan realm. My swordsmanship has been improving every moment, and with the increase in the power of the Dragon King's armor, this sword is really cool. Sudong's Tuosh divine body smiled. This book has been updated recently in #@. Update. The power is superimposed. This feeling is an explosion. Joyful, the 9 nether fire lotus body could only flee and dodge all the way when facing these top holy spirits, but the Tuoshi body was different. Whether it was the power of the body, the power of the divine force, the power of the swordsmanship, or the power of controlling the stars, it was all about pursuing the ultimate explosion. Heavenly swordsmanship? This power. The cold female holy spirit and the holy spirit that broke the formation were shocked. This holy spirit also has a companion, and the companion is also good at attacking. Boundless black domain, bind. The holy spirit that broke the formation quickly performed the Taoism. The rolling black light domain floated and covered, trying to swallow Sudong. Kill you first. Sudong's Tuoshi body was wearing the Dragon King's divine armor, and looked at the holy spirit that broke the formation coldly. Boom. He wanted to rush over. But in the black light domain, Sudong's body speed was suppressed to the extreme, only less than 1/10 of the usual speed. Die. A golden sword light suddenly penetrated. Puff. It stabbed directly at Sudong's Dragon Lord armor. The Yanshan golden sword was very good at penetrating. The Dragon Lord armor weakened 90% of its power, and only a layer of power remained to penetrate the Dragon Lord armor. TSK. With the strength of Sudong's Tuosh divine body, the power of this sword only pierced his skin a little. Haha, that's it? Sudong laughed. What? That divine armor is too scary. The two holy spirits were shocked. Die. Sudong rushed to the holy spirit who broke the formation in a blink of an eye. The purgatory divine sword in his hand blurred. Puff. The knife light instantly tore the latter's body. But in a blink of an eye, the latter's body recovered and quickly retreated. There is a life-saving magic weapon. Sudong blinked. I can't even withstand a knife. The blackfish holy spirit retreated to the corner of the underground palace. His face was full of horror. He was killed with one knife, and he even used up his life-saving treasure. Another knife, and he would really die. Don't kill me. I admit defeat. The treasures are all yours, all yours. The blackfish holy spirit shouted hurriedly. Fellow Daoist, you two are very powerful. We admit defeat. The cold female holy spirit also spoke. In terms of attack and killing, she is not inferior to Sudong, but Sudong has the Dragon King divine armor to protect his body, and ignores her attacks. How can he fight? In addition, Sudong's body movements are faster. Once he is free, he can't escape. That's why he admitted defeat. Admit defeat. Sudong narrowed his eyes slightly. These two holy spirits have life-saving magic weapons, which are indeed difficult to kill. Moreover, the cold female holy spirit is even more difficult to kill. He just activated the ultimate mode of two swords, and he hasn't killed the holy spirit that breaks the formation yet. The remaining one sword burst can't kill the two. Just shock them. Leave the magic weapons on your body, and then break the formation, and you can leave. Sudong said coldly. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.